You're listening to McKinney ISD Football on 97.5 KLAK and online at 97.5KLAK.com.
Kissing goodbye to the 30, to the 25-20, 15-10. It is touchdown time in Texas. Two-step drop on the blitz. It's intercepted. Jacob Sigler picks it off and goes down at the 26-yard line. Uncle. A tremendous play by Cameron Mazer, who hauled it in one-handed with his left hand, tipped it up.
McKinney ISD Football is on 97.5 KLAK.
Lee throws down the field for Lipka into the end zone, and it is touchdown time in Texas for McKinney.
McKinney ISD Football, brought to you by American Bank, Texas Star Bank, Pat Loeb Toyota, North Texas Orthodontics Associates, McKinney Gym Equipment, and JBS Express. Now get ready because it's touchdown time in Texas on 97.5 KLAK. Here's the voice of McKinney ISD Football, Monty Walker.
The McKinney Lions coming off a non-Lion like 3-7 last year in 2007, but tonight starts a new season. We're at Garland's Williams Stadium, and it's McKinney and the Sachse Mustangs. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Williams Stadium in Garland, Texas. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms and Jonathan Leidy and Kevin McPherson and Jared Foyt, our spotter tonight. Last year, this game was 26-21, and it was McKinney scoring 26 unanswered points. And it was a Zach Lee to Matt Lipka touchdown at the very end with a $1:03 left to go in this game is what finally put McKinney on top, and what unfortunately was one of only 3 wins last year for McKinney, and a very bad Sachse team as well, as they only won 2 games last year.
Yeah, and Monty, this is going to be an interesting game for both sides. Obviously, we think the Lions are much improved this year. In fact, even the coaches think so. They've got them as second in the district. Right now in this game, I'm not going to share how much I'm going to put into it. We're missing a very key player who won't play today, not for any major reason. But when you take away a guy, and I'll let you tell who that is in just a moment, his caliber, that alters the game. Meanwhile, Sachse, honestly, they play in a tough district. So the fact that they went 0-7 this year, they could very well improve big time and win 2 games.
Well, that very key important to last year's football team, who will not play tonight nor the next 2 weeks, is none other than the star wide receiver Matt Lipka. Lipka is a Team USA Under-16 finalist. He's playing baseball right now, and somewhere maybe on his way to Mexico. He is a very talented baseball player and infielder. He throws right and bats right. He's 6'1", 190. His 16 under West team was the Dallas Tigers, but right now the team that's missing him is the team here in Garland tonight, the McKinney Lions, who need him very badly.
And Monty, do you find it odd that one of the best receivers in the district is one of the best infielders as well? That just doesn't seem like a coincidence. But, like I say, I don't know how much stock I'll put into this game. Sachse should have some sort of revenge factor. They lost to a 4A team. They're 5A. But then again, we're shorthanded. But that said, we still have a very talented team.
Well, obviously very talented team. And as Coach Ray's pointed out, and he'll talk about in the coaches show, some guys are coming back on the wide receiver position. Guys like Brandon White, who last year had 10 catches for 180 yards. Quentin Benson coming back. He had 26 catches for 235 yards. And Dario Jackson, also 12 catches for 230. So, yeah, you do miss the 50 receptions and 955 yards from Matt Lipka, but you're only going to miss him for 3 weeks. He'll be back in time for district.
Yeah, and he's still practicing with the team. He went through the 2-a-days, so it's not like he is just going to come out all of a sudden and start playing football. But it's funny you mentioned those 2 names. Quentin Benson scored the scrimmage-winning touchdown against Richardson last week from his quarterback, Zach Lee. And then on the other side of the things, you've got a speedster in Jackson who can just absolutely blaze it down the field. So it's not like you said, they're not behind the 8 ball in the receiving corps. But obviously, a guy who brings in 50 receptions is going to be missed. The key is going to be how well you integrate the other receiving corps into the mix and how well they contribute.
A lot of guys coming back on offense. This team started a lot of sophomores last year, and matter of fact, three juniors on this offense tonight, starting, and 8 seniors. That's a lot of seniors on this offensive side of the football for McKinney, so that'll be interesting to see how they do on offense. Now on defense, they'll bring back quite a few players as well, 6 seniors and 4 juniors. They'll start 1 sophomore tonight. We'll give you the starting lineups later on in the program. Right now, let's take a break. We'll listen to the Coaches Show and Senior Spotlight coming up in a moment here on 97.5 KLAK.
KLAK.
Welcome back to Williams Stadium in Garland, Texas, where McKinney is going to take on Sachse tonight. And Sachse, the Mustangs, look very similar to a McKinney high school, which being McKinney Boyd. Even in uniform, their logo, everything pretty much identical, except for one small thing. They're not scarlet red. They're a little almost orange. Yeah,
and it was kind of funny you mentioned that during warm-ups. I almost forgot who we were covering, and they were out throwing it, and I was like, okay, there's the home team. And then I was like, wait, no, wrong team. But, yeah, they've got similar colors, but the main difference is the talent out there on the field. You know, last year we saw that obviously they're nowhere near where Boyd was last year, going 2 wins and losing to a team that Boyd actually beat, so there's some kind of comparisons. I really hope for a good game tonight, Monty.
I'll go over the McKinney Lions starting offense right now, as we didn't have a chance to have them introduce themselves during the week, so we'll go ahead and do the starting lineup for them. Starting up front, left tackle, Jesus Coronado, the 5'10", 230-pound senior. And the left guard, Tyler Peterson, you heard from him in the Senior Spotlight, 6 foot, 285-pound senior. Benches 285. Nate Leonard, the center, 6'1", 285, a junior, has a 5.49 GPA, third in his class. The right guard, number 68, Brian Warren. The right tackle, Jacob Smith, who wants to be an Aggie. He's 6'1", 215, and a junior. The starting wideout in place for Matt Lipka tonight is Brandon White. Last year, 10 receptions, 180 yards receiving. He's a senior. And in the slot, Jared Farley, a senior. He also had 217 yards receiving and a touchdown last year, 18 catches. And at quarterback tonight, Zach Lee, 6'4", 195-pound junior, runs a 4.7, benches 200, and a great baseball player. The slot back, Quentin Benson, also a senior, and the wideout on the right side will be Dario Jackson, the senior. Lots of seniors on the starting offense. And in the backfield tonight, Brett Helt, the 6', 195-pound senior, had 194 yards rushing last year and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, Monty, love that Brett Helt character. You know, I always like a bruising runner in one of the McKinneyNews.net stories. They go, and if you like guys who can carry tacklers, Brett's your guy.
On defense for the McKinney Lions tonight up front, Jordan Kilwine, 6', 200-pound senior, had 15 tackles last year. The defensive tackles are Devon Goldborn and Jamariel Mack. Also, you heard on the Senior Spotlight a moment ago. He had 4 sacks last year. The left end is Juwan Swinney, the junior. The corners tonight, Jamel Faya and Prescott Mack. The linebackers, Josh Jackson, who moved here in July. Ryan Hughes, the middle linebacker, leading tackler who is returning tonight, had 90 tackles last year. And Ryan Levins, the outside linebacker. Strong safety, Travis Tarver, the second, runs a 4.4 and benches 250. What an athlete. A sophomore, 5'10", 190, strong safety. And the weak safety, John Maribot, whose entire family has graduated from McKinney High School. He's 5'7", 175 pounds, and he's a senior.
You bet. Let's go over to the technically home team, but visiting on the broadcast, starting out with the Sachse offense. Going on the offensive line, left to right, it's Kason Hostrup, Gabe Cruz, Austin Hayes at center, Ricky Bolt, and at right tackle, it's Joseph Ramos. At quarterback, Henry Hunter, a junior, 6'1", 190. Last year, not a whole heck of a lot. Last week, 14 of 30, and he did throw for a touchdown. At wide receiver, it's Justin Sheard, a junior. At the other side, it's Troncarius Banks. He is a senior, and they run a 3-receiver set. The Z receiver is Bryce Wagner, a 5'11 junior. And in the backfield, they do have 2 backs. It's the Christian Shepard, who is the tailback, and fullbacks Brandon Lowry. Moving over to the defensive side, on the defensive line, your 2 ends are Derek Douglas, a 6'2", 215 senior, and Dallas Waddle, a 6', 200-pound junior. In the middle, Tyler Carter and Quentin Evans rounded out. Carter 5'10", 220. Quentin Evans a little more stout, 6 foot, 245. Linebackers, weak side linebacker Everett Daniels. In the middle, it's Omar Estrada. And strong side backer is Thomas Callahan. In the secondary on the right side, cornerback Chevy Bennett, a 6 foot senior. And on the other side, it's Chance Sheffield. He is a 6 foot junior. And in the safety position, strong side, Marcus Stallworth, a senior. And Will Poznarski, also a senior at free safety.
The captains for Sachse are already out on the field on the sideline, have been there for a while. Tronkus Banks is one, and Chuck Harris, the defensive back, is another. Also, Kyle Phillips, the wide receiver, and Will Plenarski on the sideline for Sachse, awaiting the McKinney Lions to come out, who are still stretching in their end zone. And that'll give us a chance to talk to Jonathan Leidy down on the sideline. John, we'll check in with you. Talk a little bit about Williams Stadium, if you can.
I do have a little information about Williams Stadium, and actually in 1948, the Garland ISD acquired this plot of land that Williams Stadium is on, which is about 50 acres, and they purchased it for a whopping $27,000. I don't think anybody today in their right mind would pass up a deal like that at today's standards. But in about 1951, they acquired the land that's adjacent to here, which was about 157 acres from the Williams family, and that's how they get the name Williams, that's derived from it. And actually the first mayor of Garland was Miss Williams herself, Marion Davis Williams, and her son is who this is actually named after. But we're fixing to have the coin flips. I'm going to send it back up to y'all.
Well, John, I appreciate that. Actually, I think Marion Davis Williams was a guy. I don't think Marion was a female, but nonetheless, this stadium, we believe, was opened in 1951, or at least there come the Sachse Mustangs as they come through their run-through. McKinney's still stretching in the end zone. But as we were talking about the stadium, we think it opened in 1951. We know that McKinney played here at Garland in 1951. It was September the 28th, and they beat Garland 20-6. It was called GHS Stadium at that time. We think it was here, but just not named. The first time we have actual evidence of a Williams Stadium in Garland was on October the 11th, 1957, when the McKinney Lions lost to Garland 7-6 here at Williams Stadium. We know they were here in 57, and we believe the stadium actually opened in 1951. And here's the captains.
You guys are captains. Let's lead by example, all right? Y'all are captains for a reason, all right? Let's lead by example. All right, we've already had the pre-flip with the coaches, okay? You guys won the toss, they deferred, correct? You guys took the ball. Y'all going to pick up the clock, right? Okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and walk it through it, all right?
Okay. Sachse won and deferred.
All right, Sachse won the toss, and they have deferred here.
White, turn your backs over.
And you may can hear a little bit of that. McKinney in all white tonight. We haven't seen the white pants in a long time from McKinney. They will have their backs to the south end zone, and Sachse will have their backs to the north end zone. Sachse, again, as you heard, deferred, and McKinney will take possession first. Brett Helt out there for McKinney as one of the captains. Tyler Peterson also out there, and Jamario Mack, and also Prescott Mack. And now you'll see the gold helmets of McKinney run back to their helmet, their big blow-up helmet, and they'll be making their way through on the field.
Not related, right?
Fairly nice crowd coming over from McKinney here on the far side. As lots of gold in the stands and a pretty decent crowd here at Sachse as well. Very quiet, as you can imagine. Oh, and McKinney not running through their helmet, walking out of their helmet.
But the cheerleaders and band don't know that.
Now they start a little jog. Now this is an interesting look from McKinney that we haven't seen here in at least 5 years. Now the gold helmets, we know about those returning 2 years ago, but now they're wearing white pants, white jerseys, blue numerals outlined in gold, and gold socks with white shoes. Haven't seen this look from McKinney in, well, like I said, at least 5 years, and probably more than that, back during the Ron Poe era, I'm assuming.
Sharp look.
Very sharp. And you know what I like about them? The numbers are easy to see.
You bet.
I think we're awaiting the national anthem. As we're doing that, Why don't we take a timeout here, and we'll be back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
Now back to Monty Walker and McKinney ISD football on 97.5 KLAK.
Welcome back to Williams Stadium in Garland, Texas. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helves, Kevin McPherson, Jonathan Leidy, and Jared Foyt here in Garland as just about ready to tee it up is Sachse. And doing the kicking for Sachse, and it will be Dakota Hazelton. He will also be the long field goal kicker should they need him. They do have a short field goal kicker in Nathaniel Reyna, but it'll be Hazelton who's doing the kicking here. Back deep for the McKinney Lions, Damian Willis, and also Dario Jackson. McKinney will be moving right to left starting this football game, which is south to north here at Williams Stadium in Garland, Texas. Crowd getting into it as we near the JBS Express kickoff. McKinney versus Sachse, 1-1 overall. Only 2 games between the two teams. 1 in each of the past 2 years. Sachse won 35-28 in 06. Last year, McKinney won 26-21 with 26 unanswered points. And the JBS Express kickoff is going to be a short push kick to the 18-yard line, taken by an up man, trying to move his way all the way across the field. Has a seam, has the 40, has the 50, and tackled on the other side of the 50-yard line.
42.
A 32-yard return to the 48, actually a 42-yard return to the 45-yard line in Sachse territory. It was Tedderell Sims who makes the stop, and on the return for McKinney was Josh Weathers.
Well, that's the best looking pooch kick return I've ever seen, Monty. He did a good job of letting his blockers get to the front, and then he was able to find his seam. He went lateral about a couple yards, and then when he found that seam, he took it up. Nice job.
Zach Lee brings his troops on offense out. He'll send 2 wide receivers to either side. Brett Helt standing back with Zach Lee. And it is Brandon White split out wide left. And Jackson wide right. He throws Jackson's way. It's caught. About a 5-6 yard gain on first down inside the 40 to the 39-yard line. So it'll be second and short. Nice way to start this football game as we obviously have no score just underway. Only 25 seconds gone off the clock.
Good start to the season right there, Monty. A nice little out pass. And that's a really key in getting your coordination together between your quarterback and your receiver.
Helt will switch sides now behind Zach Lee. Stands a little bit to the right and behind him now. White on the left, and this is a handoff to Helt, running left guard. And he stopped after a short gain to about the 38. Call it a 1-yard gain. It's Derek Douglas on the stop for Sachse.
Yeah, and I talked about it before. When you get positive yardage on first down, you're able to do a lot more on your second down and third down. That was just a simple run up the middle, and now after the last 2 plays, they've only got 2 to go for a first down. Your choices are pretty much unlimited at this point.
Sachse did win last week, 28-21 over Richardson Pierce. They averaged 220 up front on defense. And one of the big guys, Douglas, there makes a stop. Now whistles will blow on third to short. It'll be a delay of game called against McKinney. So with 10:34 left to go in the first, just underway, no score. A nice start for McKinney, but now the first flag of the night.
Yeah, and just as I say, you can do whatever you want to now on 3rd and 2. That turns into a 3rd and 7, and you're almost guaranteed to see a pass at this point.
Well, if you want to pass, there's a pretty good one back there in the name of Zach Lee. Last year, 127 completions out of 243 attempts, only threw 7 picks, had 1,906 yards and 17 touchdowns. Young man can throw the football. And he stands in shotgun formation here, 2 receivers either side, and Brett Helt behind him and to the right. And Lee wants to throw near side. Brandon White makes the catch, and he is hit immediately at the 38-yard line. The original line of scrimmage. Chevy Bennett makes the stop. The cornerback comes up, and Bennett, a 6-foot, 185-pound senior.
Yeah, that's their bread and butter, the little out pass. But the problem with an out is that the defender has the ability to converge quickly on the receiver. You need to make sure when you make your cut, you're at the first down marker, and they weren't.
4th and 3 here, so a decision early on for McKinney. Are they going to go for it? And it looks like they are, because the punter is C.J. Gonzalez, and he's nowhere to be found. Zach Lee back on the field.
Don't rule out the quick kick.
Here's Zach Lee, shotgun, 2 receivers either side on the near hash, and he rolls out right, one to run the option, pitches it out to Brett Helt. Helt has the first down and more to the 30, inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. A first down for McKinney as Quentin Evans makes the stop, but not after 11 yards for Helt. 6 foot, 245-pound senior makes the stop.
Boy, that's exactly what you want to see out of your running back. And what about Lee there not being able to afraid to take a lick? He took that and held it as long as possible, and what that does is that makes the defender commit to you and allows Helt to spring it outside.
Brandon White to the near side, right to left goes McKinney. Helt up the middle and really hit at the line of scrimmage. A great stop right up there by the blitzing linebacker, Everett Daniels. 6 foot, 195-pound senior, but he played like he was 295 there.
Yeah, that was a nice shoulder into Brett. And let me tell you, it's not easy to do that to that guy.
It took him off his feet. Both feet came up in the air, and it'll be 2nd down and 10, no gain on that first down play. 9 minutes left to go in the first, no score here at Williams Stadium between McKinney and Sachse. 2 receivers either side. Brett Helt in the backfield. Shotgun for Lee, and he fakes the hand. One to throw left. Now scrambling out of the pocket to the right. One to throw. Now he tucks it, and he has the 23-yard line, shy of the first down marker, taken out of bounds again by Everett Daniels, the linebacker.
Well, if it wasn't for that pressure, he had a receiver, Lee did down deep. That was Jared Farley. But because of the pressure, he had to scramble out, and by the time he was able to see him, he was covered.
3rd down and 5 here with 8:43 left to go in the first, no score. The gold hats of McKinney come up to the line. And it'll be Quentin Benson in the slot on the right side. But Lee wants to run the option again, and he tosses it to Helt coming near side this time, and he has it inside the 20. Close to a first down at the 18-yard line. Omar Estrada, the middle linebacker, makes the stop, scrapes over, and takes Helt out of bounds, but they'll spot it right at the 18, and that's exactly where they needed to go for the first down.
Yeah, I'm not giving it to him, so apparently – oh, now they are. What do I know? He held up the 4th down symbol, but Monty, right now Sachse doesn't know how to play the option. I mean, the outside guy is coming up taking on your quarterback, and that's something that's just not supposed to happen. You're supposed to take the pitch man and let your linebackers come and get the quarterback, and Lee's doing a great job reading that and getting it out to Brett.
8th play of the drive.
8th play of the drive for McKinney. Moving right to left, Lee in the gun. Helt stands right next to him, and he wants to throw the fade route out in the right side of the end zone. That's Jackson, and it is touchdown time in Texas. 17 yards from Zach Lee to Dario Jackson.
All that running allowed the defense to kind of start crowding up the line of scrimmage, and that's not something you want to do with this quarterback. We can't call him a sophomore wonder anymore, but, man, I tell you, he's going to do some wonderful things as a junior, and he put that on the money. If Jackson wasn't going to get that, nobody was.
That was a beautiful pass, just a very high, and this extra point from Gonzalez is high as well. We have a 7-0 lead. McKinney on top at Williams Stadium in Garland. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. And here is the JBS Express kickoff. It's going to be high and short and go out of bounds. CJ Gonzalez's kick will fly out of bounds, and that'll be a penalty against McKinney. Delay of game.
Yeah, I tell you, Dominique Gardner almost made a great leaping catch because that kickoff's a live ball, and whenever you're able to get it, if it's in play, it's your ball. You know, they don't have to touch it, and that just took a bad bounce. Sachse dodged a bullet there.
Sachse will have the ball with 7:57 left to go here in the first. Down 7-0 to McKinney.
Well, and I got to tell you, Monty, right now, I don't want to jinx anything, but the line's looking really solid so far. You know, you come out, you run just an efficient offense. They had to do a 4th down conversion, but the fact that they converted it should tell you something. Just well executed in the defense. They need to come out here and basically do the same thing. You know, we saw some good plays on the special team side with the kickoff return and on this kickoff. So, you know, the bounce didn't go the way it ended up being a penalty, but still a smart play there by Gardner. So Sachse set to take over for their first offensive possession.
Well, and in the gun will be the quarterback Henry Hunter, who played last year, and this is a toss out right side to LaChristian Shepard. No, that's not Shepard. That's Brandon Lowry, who gets the toss out to the right. And that'll be a gain of quite a bit, 9 yards on first down before Ryan Levens takes him down, the linebacker for the McKinney Lions.
Yeah, and Monty, that's a good blocking job by Sachse there. They were able to basically get every defender accounted for, and when they did, that pretty much allowed the receiver to find the hole.
Lifetime warranty, McKinney Gym Equipment.
Well, it's not Henry Hunter at quarterback, it's Vincent Beltran. He hands off this up the middle. That's LaChristian Shepard, and he does have the first down. He was shot out of a cannon for 14 yards. John Marabo for McKinney makes the stop. The weak safety, and he's the young man I was telling you about that his entire family graduated from McKinney High School. John Marabo. Sorry for the delay a moment ago. It's still 7-0 McKinney on top here at Williams Stadium in Garland. 7:09 left to go here in the first quarter. Sachse has moved the ball just a little bit, just past the 50-yard line on 3 plays here. A nice run a moment ago by LaChristian Shepard for the first down. It's first down and 10 with 6:55 and rolling. And now a whistle blows on first down, and this will be delay of game against Sachse this time.
Or a timeout.
And maybe a timeout. Timeout has been called. We'll keep it right here since we were away for a little bit a moment ago.
Yeah, I told you wrong. Sorry about that, Monty. But, I look right now what Sachse is being able to do, and they're doing it by blocking. It's not like, at least on the first few plays, that they have anything like a Darren Allis who makes something out of nothing. You look at their offensive line, Monty, they average 240. That's not their biggest play. They average 240, which in the high school ranks is pretty good. And keep in mind, they are 5A, and that's more of the norm than what we're used to at the 4A level. But they should be able to block. And when you're able to get blocks for your running backs, then you're in good shape.
Let's check down on the sidelines with Jonathan Leidy and see if he's got anything down for us. John, go ahead.
Yes, guys, I'm actually sitting here watching the offensive lineman sitting on the bench, and Coach Bobby Reyes is actually talking to him. His only comment about that last offensive drive was he wants his center to make a line call, whether to shift left or shift right on that. But that pass was also from Zach Lee, which out there to Dario Jackson, where only Dario Jackson can catch that. Back up to y'all.
Yeah, he's talking about his center, Nathan Leonard, and if you're wanting a kid to do something, you're talking to a pretty good kid. 5.49 GPA. And that's probably why he's the leader of that offense right up there in the middle. Shotgun, and this is going to be a fake. The hand now under pressure, and is he sacked? Is he finally sacked? Jordan Kilwine brings him down. 6 foot, 200-pound senior, and that's a big loss. Great play by the front 7 of McKinney. Yeah,
that's going to go down as one of those half sacks that you see in the column. Well, I tell you, Jamario Mack just tore through the very middle of that Sachse offensive line. And just after I praised him for what good they were doing on the blocking, but he took on 2 guys, put pressure on the quarterback, got a hand on him, and basically the defensive line was able to bring him down, the quarterback.
Shotgun, handoff up the middle. I thought it was, that's going to be the tailback, Lowry.
9 yards.
Lowry has 9 yards on that play. So it'll be 3rd and long, 3rd and about 9 here for Sachse, moving left to right with 5:59 left to go in the first quarter. McKinney on top, 7-0.
Well, I'll tell you that what we just saw will drive any offensive coach crazy. You burn a timeout in the first quarter to stop a delay of game, and then the very first play after that's a sack.
Vincent Beltran in shotgun for Sachse, trying to draw McKinney off sides. Now he wants to throw down the right side, the home run ball, and it is incomplete. Nice play on defense for McKinney, as it was John Marabo, the safety over there, who broke it up. A nice effort by the wide receiver, Tronkus Banks, but he couldn't come down with it.
Yeah, Marabo put himself in really solid position on that one, just playing center field. And right now, I got to tell you, if Sachse is going to have success, I think it's going to have to be on the ground. I've seen okay things so far from the passing game, but that's not a good pass in any way whatsoever.
Back to punt this ball away for Sachse will be Kyle Phillips. It's a bad snap. He has to run for it to the 40-yard line, and it's another great play for McKinney, who makes sure he's stopped in his tracks and making the play. One of them back there for McKinney is going to be Joshua Jackson.
And that started off as a high snap. And so far we haven't seen kind of the penalty game that we saw last week, but McKinney's all over. All three phases of their game has been pretty sharp so far, and that was just another example. Smart heads-up play by the punt return team there.
That was a loss of 14. McKinney takes over with a handoff to Brett up the middle. Brett Helt to the 30, cutting it back inside to the 27-yard line. A first down on first down. A 12-yard gain for Brett Helt, and Marcus Stallworth, 5'11", 170-pound senior, brings him down for Sachse. Still 7-0 here at Williams Stadium in Garland. McKinney on top. It was a Zach Lee to Dario Jackson 17-yard touchdown pass early on. Lee will send out 3 receivers to the right this time and wants to throw the swing pass out. It's almost intercepted. A great play by the linebacker right at the line of scrimmage, dived and broke the ball from going into the hands of Jared Farley. Thomas Callahan dove and knocked the ball with his left hand right at the line of scrimmage. They were trying to screen pass, but Callahan made a great play and jumped the route.
Yeah, that's the best we've seen the Sachse defense look, and on the flip side, that's the worst that we've seen the Lion offense look. Just a well-read play there by Callahan, and when the defender does that, you're going to have to almost execute to perfection.
Lee drops back 3 steps, looking across the middle, throwing it down the middle. Jackson trying to run under it, and it's just in and out of his fingertips, and it falls incomplete. That one just a touch thrown too far.
Yeah, and it's hard to outthrow Jackson because he's a speed burner, but just it hit him in the hands, and I'll tell you, most receivers coaches will say if it hits you in the hands, you need to bring it. However, those hands were fully extended out in front of him, and he was leaning forward off balance, so I'll cut the kid a little credit. Cut him some slack. I'll give him some credit.
3 out of 5 for Lee, 27 yards.
Zach Lee, 3 out of 5 so far for 27 yards passing. And he'll split wide right Jackson and Brandon White to the near side. Farley in the slot and Benson in the slot. Handoff Brett Helt, big hole right side. He could be in. It is touchdown time in Texas.
Yards.
A great hole on the right side and a 28-yard touchdown for Brett Helt.
Wow. Great blocking. I don't think Brett was touched.
Brett Helt is like a linebacker. He's not your quick scat back. He's a big bruising like a fullback.
And if you can get through 27 yards untouched, I mean, I could see him running 27 yards for a touchdown, but untouched.
Here's C.J. Gonzalez, extra point, and it is good. 14-0 McKinney over Sachse with 4:42 left to go here in the first quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
Now back to Monty Walker and McKinney ISD football on 97.5 KLAK.
Welcome back to Williams Stadium in Garland, where McKinney leads 14-0 over Sachse. We'll give you Mike's Economy Transmission scoring drive recap in a moment right after this JBS Express kickoff that goes out of bounds. Once again, that's the second time C.J. Gonzalez's kickoff has gone out of bounds.
I thought he touched it, Monty. I think he might have.
Well, they will say that. Yep, they'll mark the ball. Well, Jared sees a flag, and they're just going to step it off. So let's do the Mike's Economy Transmission scoring drive recap. That one was 4 plays, 40 yards. It took 51 seconds off the clock as they'll redo the kick here. And it's 14-0 McKinney after the 28-yard touchdown run by Brett Helt. Now, going back, we missed the Mike's Economy Transmission scoring drive recap the first time around on the first one. So we'll do that one. It was an 8-play, 45-yard drive, 4 minutes and 3 seconds off the clock. That gave McKinney a 7-0 lead. And that was a 17-yard Zach Lee to Dario Jackson touchdown pass. So it's 14-0 now after this one. And we're lining up once again for the JBS Express kickoff as C.J. Gonzalez will tee it up now from the 35-yard line instead of the 40. And we'll try to do this again. It is week 1 for these kids. And we've had our first game last week, McKinney North and McKinney Boyd. But for McKinney, this is it. This first time under the lights in 8 months or so.
Yeah, you bet. Man, they're looking sharp, Monty. This is I'm cautiously optimistic, I'll say that.
Here's Gonzalez's kick. Still trying for that right side, right corner. And it's going to be taken at the 6-yard line. Coming up the left hash, left to right, big hole, look out. Being chased and dragged down finally at the 38-yard line, shy of midfield. There's a sideline warning now. as the officials will tell the players to
31 yards on the return.
31-yard return. Josh Weathers makes the stop for McKinney, but the returner did an outstanding job of finding that seam and just taking it right up that seam.
Yeah, if Josh Weathers doesn't make that tackle, it's a little bit more precarious if you're the Lions. But, the returner almost got by him. But Weathers was able to grab on, and as he slid down, was able to continue to hang on to his legs as he got help. But, boy, that could have been a lot worse.
4:31 left to go here in the first quarter. 14-0, McKinney on top. Sachse comes back out now. First and 10 at their own 35-yard line. And again, Sachse, if you just looked at it on film, if you didn't know they look just like McKinney Boyd if you're used to seeing them. Here's a handoff once again right up the middle, and that's a big hole to the left side.
9 yards.
And that's LaChristian Shepard for 9 yards on the handoff. Last week he had 17 carries for 51 yards against Pierce. And he also had 5 catches for 39 yards. He's a 5'10", 175-pound senior, and he is very fast.
And gets good blocking. Right now, that's the strength of this Sachse offense is their offensive line. I'd expect to see a lot more runs the rest of the game.
I don't know whether it's the number 22, but it's something reminds me of Quentin Griffin with him. Here's a handoff to him once again, up the middle, left side, and finally drugged down after the first down inside McKinney territory. An 8-yard gain brought down by Taryn Morris.
Again, offensive line's blocking up front. Other than the sack that happened on the previous Sachse drive, the Mustang offensive line is pretty much having their way with the Lion defense.
We have not seen Henry Hunter at all tonight.
Makes you wonder.
At quarterback, as Vincent Beltran, the junior, has been in at quarterback the entire night. He's in shotgun, runs 3 receivers to the right side. He hands off once again. Christian up the middle, same play. 9 yards again, inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. Josh Jackson makes the stop for McKinney. And Josh runs a 4.9, benches 285. And he needed all of that right there to stop LaChristian Shepard after that 8.5-yard gain.
4 carries for 40 yards for him. 4 for 40.
4 carries for 40 yards already for Shepard. As Sachse moving left to right here at the McKinney 38-yard line. And Beltran throws out, and he hits his receiver out of the backfield. That's Lowry who makes the catch. Another first down inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. Jamario Mack, the defensive tackle, somehow runs over there and makes a stop.
Thought we had a chance for a block in the back, but no call. And at this point, again, that was a blocking play. Well, it's going to be credited as a pass. That's still set up by the blocking of the defense or the offensive line, and to some extent, even the receivers were able to get in the mix and lay the blocks that needed to.
First down and 10, 2 receivers either side. As Shepard moves to the right side of Beltran, the quarterback, barking, wants it, gets it, handoff. Shepard met in the backfield. A great play by Jamario Mack. Jamario last year had 11 tackles and 4 sacks. That one might as well have been a sack because he was right there in the backfield.
Boy, if you're in cable, get a chance to look at that replay. The Shepard's head, I don't think it's supposed to move like that. And I'm not joking. That was a vicious hit. Ooh, and he's okay, but man.
Big loss. This will be second down and 13 now for Sachse with a $1:51 left to go in the first quarter clock. Down 14-0 to McKinney. And Beltran rolls out right, throws it in the flat, and it's incomplete. Just out of the outstretched arms of Bryce Wagner, the receiver. And it'll now be third down
Beltran
and 13.
1 of 3 for 9 yards.
Still pressure coming from that McKinney defensive line, though, on the passing game. So it looks really like the Sachse offensive line run blocks better than they pass block.
The quarterback, Beltran, is 1 of 3 for 9 yards passing so far early going. But they've gotten most of their yardage, and they've done most of their damage on the ground by the running of LaChristian Shepard and Brandon Lowry. 3 receivers right side as Beltran hands off. Shepard, left tackle. He's got a hole, makes another hole, spins out of a tackle, down to the 17, maybe 16-yard line.
15 yards.
And it'll be Brandon Whitham who makes the stop, 6'1", 210-pound junior for McKinney, but another first down.
Yeah, they run that trap play again, the right guard pulling left. And I'll tell you, you take that play out, and this Sachse offense isn't left with a lot of yards. That's really been their bread and butter.
They're wearing out the right side of that defensive line right now. And they're going to try the right side this time with Lowry, and he just lowers his head and takes about 3 or 4 McKinney lines with him on his way to a big gain, about 6-7 yards. Jamario Mack once again makes the stop.
Yeah, he's been really the star of that defensive line so
north
far.
At the end of one.
We've got a McKinney North score. They're 6-0 leading Centennial after one.
District already?
No, Garland Lakeview.
Garland Lakeview,
I
sorry.
was about to say, something was out there.
Handoff. This is Shepard, left tackle. This time McKinney closes the gap a little bit, and he may be shy of the first down at the 8-yard line. Needed to get, just outside of the 8. He may have gotten enough for the first down. We'll check. Ryan Hughes makes the stop, the middle linebacker for McKinney, and they may have to pull this one, as it looks to me like a first down, but
yeah, they're calling it about half a yard short. It's those soccer lines that are getting me.
yeah, it may be. Third and about a half yard, maybe one, maybe closer to 1 yard. 2 men in the backfield, and Beltran hands off, coming near side from Lowry across from the far, and he'll make his way inside the 5 easily enough for the first down to the 4-yard line, nearing that south end zone here at Williams Stadium, as there's 8 seconds left on this first quarter clock, and that's going to be the last play, as it would take a while to move those sticks. 14-0, McKinney in the lead here at Williams Stadium over Sachse. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. 11th play of the drive here for Sachse. Now changes and moves right to left towards the north end zone here at Williams Stadium in Garland. McKinney leading 14-0. Lowry over the top, fighting his way towards the end zone, and a nice play by McKinney to stop him just shy. It'll be second down and goal from inside, well, probably about the 1-yard line. DeJuan Swinney made the stop for McKinney.
Yeah, that's even going to be inside the 1-yard line. There's going to be no margin of error here. And if you're looking at a 14-0 score in the first quarter and feeling good, you might want to put that aside just a little bit. Sachse beat Richardson Pierce, and they scored 21 third-quarter points.
Beltran
ended up winning 28-21.
Beltran in the gun, handoff up the middle. Lowry met in the backfield. A nice play by McKinney. And now they say the ball's on the turf. Whistle's blowing. But they ruled it down. But it's going to be Prescott Mack who hands the ball to the officials as if to say, hey, I really did recover it.
Boy, that would have been huge, man. If you can get them at inside the 1-yard line and then get a turnover, that would be a killer in terms of momentum for Sachse.
Even still, here's third goal
Sachse's
from the 1.
2 of 2 on third downs on this drive.
Sachse is 2 of 2 on third downs on this drive. What a stand McKinney could have right here on the goal line. Shotgun for Beltran, handoff, and that's Shepard. Did his knee go down? Nope, they're going to call a touchdown. They say he went over. They say the ball went over, but his knees were down. Jared Ford, our spotter, says that he was down, but the official right there says that apparently the ball was over. So that'll cut the McKinney lead 14-6, awaiting the PAT.
Yeah, if you're watching me here in the booth, which obviously you're not since we're on radio or cables on the field, but I was signaling no, but reality, I fairly much knew that was going to be a touchdown. He had too much momentum going for him.
The extra point is up and good, and this ball game now is 14-7. McKinney in the lead with 10:41 left to go at Williams Stadium in Garland. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
Locally owned and operated McKinney Gym Equipment.
Welcome back to Williams Stadium in Garland, where McKinney leads 14-7. We'll do the Mike's Economy transmission scoring drive recap real quick. 13 plays, very impressive 13 plays for Sachse. 65 yards, took 6 minutes and 1 second off the clock. And it was LaChristian Shepard who went over from 1 yard out. Now we're ready for the JBS Express kickoff. And the ball is in the air, and it's a high pooch kick going to be taken at the 27-yard line. And coming near side, all the way from across the field, gets a good block and goes down at the 39-yard line. And on the return once again for McKinney is going to be Weathers. That's Josh Weathers on the return.
Yeah, nice little return, but it was, on the wrong side of the field. When you go lateral and you don't gain any yards, it doesn't do you any good. He was trying to find a seam. He almost did. He cycled through 9 guys on the kick return and couldn't get past the final 2. Monty, looking down here at the Sachse sideline, Henry Hunter, the quarterback we thought we'd see, he's down there throwing the ball with the current quarterback we've seen, Vincent Beltran, so who knows what that means.
It'll be 1st and 10 for McKinney, moving left to right with 10:32 left to go in the second quarter. 14-7, McKinney leading here. And Lee wants to throw on 1st down. Flushed out of the pocket, now sacked, but he throws it away. And Red Barons is looking for a flag, and he gets one. It'll be Quentin Evans on the sack for Sachse. Lee was just simply being driven down and threw the ball away.
Yeah, you got to give him some slack. I don't think anybody could get that ball to the line of scrimmage. And, yeah, he was trying to throw it away out to the sidelines, which is legal. But when you're falling down, that's almost impossible. And I think that's got to be a situation where he cut up some slack because he was obviously trying to hoist it, but just he didn't have the body angle to do it.
Red Barons, the Sachse head coach, is 49 years old. He's from Everman. He went to McMurray State University. This is his 4th year at Sachse. And overall record here at Sachse is 14-26. While on the flip side, Bobby Ray's the sturdy veteran, 36 year of coaching football. This is second here in McKinney, 3-7 overall at McKinney. And this is Lee in the gun, handoff Brett Helt up the middle, not much doing, maybe a couple of yards. Safety's coming up late in the play. No flags or whistles blown there. It'll be maybe a couple yards up to the 21-yard line. So after the big penalty, it's 3rd and 22 now for McKinney.
Man, the penalty's just a killer. Man. I've said all I'm going to say about it, but boy, that really put a crimp in the Lions' plans.
It'll be Dario Jackson split out wide right. The rest of the guys will huddle up. Benson also in the slot. And now Lee wants to throw. Looks out left side, now flushed out of the pocket, throws across the middle, trying to reach Farley, and it's intercepted at the 42-yard line. Overthrew one receiver and underthrew another. It's intercepted by Chevy Bennett. Looked like he was initially trying to hit Farley. If he was, he overthrew him. If he was trying to hit Dario Jackson, he underthrew him. He landed somewhere in the middle, and that's where Chevy Bennett was.
Well, I don't know that he necessarily overthrew Farley because he could have gotten there, and I wish I'd have saw who was covering him, but he was impeding his progress. Now, I don't know if it was intentional or not. I'm not saying we should have seen a flag there, but if that's a situation where the defender's getting in the way, that's an easy play for the other defender to make.
This is an old running shoot type of formation here for Sachse.
New quarterback.
As Henry Hunter is in the game, and he'll run right up the middle, and he breaks a couple of tackles, makes his way for about 5 yards to the 46-yard line, shy of midfield, moving right to left. It's Ryan Levins on the stop for McKinney.
Yeah, wondering if maybe, it's a situation like we saw with the North, that Vincent Beltran is your passing quarterback and Hunter's your running quarterback, and the way they've been running the ball, you might think, hey, we need to go with the running quarterback.
2 receivers either side. And this is going to be Hunter handed off to Shepard around the right side, not touched until he gains 4 yards, and finally touched and brought down right at the midfield stripe, just barely shy of a 1st down. As Sachse now on the ground picking up a lot of yards.
And Monty, I could gain yards 83 with this blocking. Literally all you have to do is just run, and they're setting up seams for you.
83 yards of rushing so far for Sachse in this football game, and there's 8:37 left to go in the second quarter.
3 of 4 on 3rd downs.
3 of 4 on 3rd downs for Sachse as they're 3rd and 1 here. Right at the midfield stripe, moving right to left. Hunter in the gun, gets it right over left guard, spinning his way out of 1 tackle, spinning his way out of 3 or 4 tackles.
How?
He won't stop. Down inside the 40 to the 39-yard line. He never stopped. McKinney did, and he ends up with a 12-yard gain before he finally meets the safety, John Marabou.
That's pretty athletic play there, and I don't know if McKinney quit because they thought he was down or if they were just well blocked. I was watching Hunter make some moves. He was spinning all over the place.
He had 222 yards rushing last year and a touchdown. Actually, no, I'm sorry. That's passing. Last year he had 113 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. 14-7. McKinney in the lead. And Hunter wants to throw the fade route down the right side. Good coverage by Prescott Mack, but a nice catch. And they'll say he's out of bounds. It'll be incomplete. And on the reception there was Tronkus Banks, but they'll say incomplete as he fell out of bounds.
Yeah, Mack doing a good job. He knew where the sideline was on that, and basically he was going to make it okay. If you're going to catch it, you're going to do it on a bounce out of the sideline, and that's exactly what happened. Solid coverage there, and if we can see that consistently out of him, that side's going to be well covered all year.
McKinney needs to step up here. It's 2nd down and 10. 7:48 left to go in the second quarter, leading 14-7. Need a big stand. And Hunter throws a swing pass out to the left side, and that's going to be the tailback, Brandon Lowry, and he makes his way all the way down. 39 yards for the touchdown. Needing a big stand, and they did not get it on 2nd down, and we're an extra point away from a tie ball game.
The funny thing is that was almost tipped like we saw the Mustangs do on the previous drive where the linebacker came up and almost tipped that out. And Monty, it's funny, that was only the second time that they were in a 2nd and long situation, and then they capitalized on it.
Here's the extra point, going to be Reyna, and he bangs it through. 14-14, all tied up at Williams Stadium in Garland between McKinney and Sachse. 7:37 left to go in the second. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
Hey.
Welcome back to Williams Stadium in Garland, where it's all tied up 14-14. McKinney and Sachse will do a Mike's Economy transmission scoring drive recap. 6 plays, 59 yards, took exactly 2 minutes off the clock. And it was a 39-yard touchdown pass from Henry Hunter to Brandon Lowry. And it was basically all Lowry because it was a screen pass. And now here's the JBS Express kickoff. It's going to go through the hands and now kicked backwards towards the goal line by McKinney. And not a great return at all as he steps forward and meets a couple of Sachse returners right in his face. One of them being Will Penarski, but the return man for McKinney just didn't have a chance once the ball went through his hands, and that was going to be Damian Willis, who it actually bounced. He tried to go up and get it. It went through his hands. He had to turn around and go get it, and when he picked it up, it was about the 1 yard line. He got the ball, turned around, and Penarski was right in his face.
Yeah, that's why you don't let the ball bounce on a kickoff.
They
because
somehow,
it was just over his hands.
The ball will be spotted at the 5, however, so Lee will stand on his goal line and shotgun handoff. Brett held up the middle and met right at the line of scrimmage and driven backwards. It'll be 2nd down and 10 if they give him the line of scrimmage. 7:23 left to go in the second. 14-14, McKinney and Sachse. McKinney owned the first quarter. Sachse owned the second, or has owned the second.
I was about to say, as much as McKinney did well in that first quarter, it's been just as much Sachse here. And right now, I just want to see a sustained drive, try to milk that clock, but more importantly, milk the momentum.
2nd down and 10. Lee always in the gun for McKinney. 2 receivers either side. And he looks Benson's way, has him. It's caught at the 10, makes his way up to the 15, to the 17-yard line of 1st down on the catch by Quentin Benson, his first of the year.
Well, and that's exactly what I wanted to see out of the Lions there. Just a nice solid pass, get some forward momentum, gain 12 yards on the play, and just, get yourself a little bit of confidence back.
And a little breathing room out of the end zone.
That too, yeah, you bet.
1st and 10 for McKinney from their own 17-yard line. Lee in the gun. Jackson wide right and White wide left. This is going to be a handoff to Helt, running left tackle. Met immediately down at the line of scrimmage. Again, Helt more like a fullback instead of a halfback as Derek Douglas makes the stop. Helt not going to outrun anybody, but he did make his way there. Now, I shouldn't say that for Brett Helt's family because, I'm sure Brett can run, but he's not your traditional scat back, I should say.
He has outrun somebody on a touchdown run this one. So.
64 yards on 9 carries for him.
64 yards on 9 carries for Brett Helt so far tonight. Here's Lee wanting to throw it, and he hits his slot receiver for about a 3 or 4 yard gain. The helmet goes flying. There's a gold helmet laying at the 22-yard line, but the receiver, Brandon White, no, that's not Brandon White. It's Jared Farley who makes the catch, and he was right at the 25-yard line.
Well, that's the second time that a Lion has lost the helmet. The first one came on defense from Ryan Hughes, and that's a guy you know, prototypical linebacker kind of thing. You almost expect that to happen to, but usually the receivers, they'll kind of just fall down when that happens. But Farley, he was still fighting for yards, and it worked out well for him.
3rd down and 2 for McKinney, moving left to right towards the south end zone at Williams Stadium in Garland. Lee runs the wrong side. He was going to run the option, but he ran to the right, should have ran to the left, but somehow this former wrestling champion is going to pick up the first down. Now, if you're not aware of that, Zach Lee, when he was 7 years old, was the United States wrestling champion at 7 years old.
You know what, though? Wrestling champions always seem to be these small, you know, not built and bulky guys.
Well,
and that fits Zach Lee.
He's 6'4", 195. That's pretty big and bulky.
But it's tall. It's not like, you know, muscles.
Here's Lee, throws to Jackson. It's caught in front of a bunch of receivers. He makes his way behind them and close to a first down. I believe they're going to move the sticks there. Jackson made a nice catch on the run. We need to check down with Jonathan Leidy. What's John got for us?
Guys, we see the McKinney Lions come out in this game, unlike we saw the squads last week with that enthusiasm, but they're starting to lose it right now. They're asking a lot from their defensive line. They're switching in Taryn Hicks and Jamariel Mack and Jose Perez and Brandon Whitman and trying a combination that can stop the running attack by Sachse. Back up to y'all.
Yeah, and he brings up a point. The other thing we haven't seen from last week's a lot of penalties.
Zach Lee on 1st and 10 looks to hand off, and now he wants to throw left side, and Brandon White could not haul it in.
7 out of 11, 56 yards.
Zach Lee, 7 out of 11 so far, 56 yards in this football game passing. But we're all tied up, 14-14 with 4:21 left before half. McKinney and Sachse at Williams Stadium in Garland, Texas.
Monty, so far, I mean, you know, obviously you'd like to have Matt Lipka, but I tell you what, he's got some really great chemistry working with some of his receivers. That ball was in the air right as he was turning, and unfortunately he wasn't able to pull it in. But we've seen that timing route work really well today. 127
yards of total offense for McKinney, 144 for Sachse. Here's the pitch on the option to Brent Helt, and he runs over one defender on his way to about a 7-yard gain and running over Everett Daniels. It'll be 3rd and about 3 yards here at their own 47-yard line.
Sachse still struggling trying to defend that option. When you've got 2 guys committing to the quarterback and no one committing to the pitch man, that's going to happen every play. You
know, it's my theory, and maybe this is crazy, but kids these days, when they grow up playing football, they only see the spread. And when you run the football at these kids, they don't know what to do. They've never faced a running offense.
Especially with a quarterback.
Lee on 3rd and 2 in the gun, drops back 2 steps, looks across the middle, throwing it way down the field for Dario Jackson, makes the catch at the 20, inside the 10, high stepping, it's touchdown time in Texas.
53 yards.
53 yards from Zach Lee to Dario Jackson, and McKinney now has a 20-14 lead.
Boy, Zach Lee can thread a needle with the football. Man, that was a perfect pass. I was watching receiver come underneath Brandon White. He was wide open, but he ran an out pattern. Jackson just running down the middle had his step, but man, Lee hit him just perfectly. Again, no one else is going to get that but his intended receiver, which has been Jackson both times going deep.
Here's Gonzalez kick. It is true, and McKinney leads 21-14 with 3:29 to go before half. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Garland's Williams Stadium, where it's 21-14. McKinney in the lead over Sachse. We'll do a Mike's Economy transmission scoring drive recap. 9 plays, 95 yards for McKinney, 4 minutes and 8 seconds off the clock. And that was capped off by a 53-yard touchdown pass from Zach Lee to Dario Jackson. And McKinney now leads 21-14. And C.J. Gonzalez is on for the JBS Express kickoff, and it's in the air and trying to hit that right sideline again. A high pooch kick goes out of bounds again. It is week 1 and another flag.
Boy, at some point you need to try something different if it's not working.
The only people that are happy about this is JBS Express.
That's true.
Because every time they do a kickoff, we mention their name.
And deservedly so. They're good people over there.
So they love C.J. Gonzalez right now.
Yeah, they're going to say keep trying it. Try it till you get it right.
They will retry it here. They'll move it to the 35-yard line. So to recap the scoring tonight, McKinney started off first with a Zach Lee to Dario Jackson 17-yard touchdown pass. That was followed up by a McKinney 28-yard touchdown run by Brett Helt. Sachse finally got on the board with a 1-yard touchdown by LaChristian Shepard. And then once Hunter got into the game, Henry Hunter for Sachse, the quarterback, once he entered the game, he immediately threw a screen pass to Brandon Lowry, who scampered 39 yards for the score. And that made it 14-14. And just moments ago, Zach Lee hit Dario Jackson for 53 yards. And Sachse's kick returner is going to dive for the ball, and he can't get it now. He finally does. And did he catch that ball, or did he come off?
He down?
He was down on the ground when he picked up the ball.
Yeah, that should be. Oh, well.
He dove for the ball. He didn't catch it. The ball was on the turf.
And he
picked it up while he was laying on the ground. He got up and ran.
That's what I saw, too.
And he made his way up to the 25-yard line. Now, the officials for tonight, we haven't given them to you yet. The referee is John Penn. The umpire is Buddy Cornstubble.
Sorry.
The head linesman is Gary Catrola.
He's got a mama, you know.
The line judge is John Dolman, and the back judge, Chris Austin. They're from the Dallas chapter. And here's Henry Hunter in the game under pressure, and they throw the shovel pass, and that's LaChristian once again, LaChristian Shepard. And they spread out the field there, so not a big gain. Looked like a lot of running yards, but Ryan Hughes brought him down after about a 2. Well, it will be a 5-yard gain up to the 30-yard line.
Yeah, he was so deep in the backfield that it looked like he gained more. Monty, real quick, it was C.J. Gonzalez who hit that pooch kick, but when he missed it again, they brought him out of the game, brought in Blake Burdett, a senior kicker. And by the way, that was from Jared Foyt.
Here's Hunter, swing pass out. Once again, Brandon Lowry. They scored on this earlier. Lowry cuts it up to the 50, 45, and finally drug out of bounds after a 28-yard gain to the 42-yard line of McKinney. And he's finally going to be brought down by Devarius Thompson.
Yeah, and again, another saving ankle tackle. I don't like to see a whole lot of those because that means something's not working the way it's supposed to, but you got to like what you're seeing if you're Sachse from Shepard. He's been able to provide a lot of offense, and you also got to like the blocking you're seeing out of that offensive line. Right now, I just don't know that I could say enough about it.
Scoring update, McKinney North still on top, 6-0. With 3 minutes left to go before half. Here's Hunter across the middle. That's Lowry again on the screen pass. And once again, big yardage down to the 26-yard line.
Face mask.
A face mask at the end of the play. Travis Tarver, the second, brings him down. 17 yards, I believe, on the play.
Yeah, and I talked about lack of penalties earlier, but you never want to see a face mask, because whether it's going to be a 15-yarder or a 5-yarder, you never want to see it after a long play, because that means that play is going to go even longer.
2:14 left to go before half. And yes, we will have the American Bank of Texas halftime show. Brandon and the guys will bring you some information at half, and also I believe Gene will give you some scores from across the area. It's 21-14 here with McKinney in the lead over Sachse at Williams Stadium in Garland.
Well, it looked rough for Sachse in the first couple of series they had. They ended up, moving the ball but not getting the points. But I tell you, man, since then, they're operating really efficiently. 1st and
10 from the McKinney 12-yard line. Hunter wants to run it from the gun, and he's brought down after not much, maybe a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9 or 10 now. Jamario Mack makes a stop for McKinney, the defensive left tackle. Under 2 minutes now in the second quarter. It seems like ever since Henry Hunter has been in the game at quarterback, this offense has really started to move.
Yeah, you bet. Beltran was able to get him in the end zone at least once, but, man, Hunter has been really efficient leading this thing.
Great athlete. Throws it across in the end zone, and it's incomplete. He just simply overshot his receiver, and that was Brandon Lowry coming out of the backfield. Lowry, he hits that soft side of the once you get off the turf in the back of the end zone, it's that a slick surface, and he almost fell down once he left the actual playing surface, and now he runs back, and he'll line up in the slot. It'll be 3rd down and 10 for Sachse, moving right to left, looking for that north end zone here at Williams Stadium, and they are 12 yards away. Hunter in the gun, drops back 3 steps, trying to set up the screen up the middle. Lowry, a great play across, comes all the way across and into the end zone. Sachse 1 point away from tying this football game on a 13-yard touchdown.
Well, right now when you see that play, it basically starts off, you've got your lineman setting up basically a screenplay across the middle. And when you see 3-4 guys heading at the quarterback, you know something's not going to be happening the way it's supposed to, because that many people are almost never going to get by the offensive line right away, and that's almost, you kind of cringe when you see that.
For the extra point, it is true. And it was Reyna who booted that one through. We're tied up 21-21 with 1:21 left to go before half. Back in a moment. 97.5 KLAK.
KLAK.
21-21 at Garland's Williams Stadium between McKinney and Sachse. We'll give you the Mike's Economy Transmission scoring drive recap. It was 7 plays, 75 yards for Sachse, 2 minutes and 8 seconds off the clock, and a 13-yard touchdown pass from Henry Hunter to Brandon Lowry. Ties our ball game 7 at 21 apiece. And back deep, Dario Jackson, the ball hit around his feet. Apparently didn't hit him. It rolls out of the end zone. So another break there for McKinney. Their return team has just been atrocious so far.
Yeah, the very first one was the best, and it's been downhill since then. But you got to field those things.
Well, it is week 1. And
true.
You know, those things do get ironed out, especially before district.
And technically, this is Sachse's second
It is.
Game that counts. So that is something to think, too. But still, at some point, the coach got to pull him aside. Don't let that thing bounce. When you're on a kickoff that's coming deep, you've got ample time to get underneath it.
In case you're wondering, Henry Hunter had 3 rushing touchdowns last week against Richardson Pierce. Here's Lee, handoff Helt, left tackle. Going to gain maybe 1 yard to the 21-yard line. 1:15 on the second quarter clock, tied up 21-21 here at Williams Stadium in Garland. Derek Douglas on the stop for Sachse.
Well, Monty, right now I'd like to see him do a little bit more passing. There's just about a minute left in a tie ball game. At the other end of the thing, you'll be kicking off to start halftime. So this is, for all intents and purposes, your last possession before the half.
Well, I would imagine Zach Lee at some point here in the next 51 seconds will heave it deep for Dario Jackson.
Here you go.
He does drop back 2 steps, throws it across the middle and incomplete, trying to find Brandon White, but a nice play apparently by the cornerback who's jumping around in sheer joy, and that's Chance Sheffield.
Well, he thought he had an interception. I think he was, maybe cursing himself that he didn't get in position to pick that one off, because I tell you, if he had, it would have been very close to see who would have been able to catch him before he hit the end zone.
All of a sudden here, it's 3rd down and 9 with 45 seconds to go, so you really need a completion here.
Or a run to take the time off.
Either way, Zach Lee in the gun on 3rd and 9 from their own 21-yard line. Handoff up the middle, Brett Helt breaks a tackle. He could have the first down. Nope, he gets stopped from behind at the 23-yard line. I thought for a moment he had a lot of daylight, but apparently that closed in a hurry as he was brought down from behind. It'll be 4th down now and about 7 from their own, I'll call it 24-yard line. A timeout has been taken. We'll take one also. 37 seconds left to go in the second quarter, all tied up 21-21. Well, Jared Farley back for the first punt of this game. They did line up for one earlier, but it was a bad snap. And Farley will boot this one away. A low end-over-end kick's going to bounce at the 46-yard line. And that's going to be on the return. Sachse has a wide open lane, and is finally brought down by Ryan Hughes, who normally plays the middle linebacker position. There is a man down for McKinney right close to the midfield stripe, and that's Trevor Wadsworth. He's kind of holding his knee a little bit. We have no idea, obviously, what the injury might be. It could even be cramps. Remember, we're still early on in the season. The return for Sachse just a moment ago there was Chevy Bennett, as he had a nice return coming up to the near side, running right to left.
I tell you what brought him down was he bumped into his own man. Now, granted, sometimes you do that because other lanes are blocked off, but because he hit his own man, that allowed Ryan Hughes to go over the backside, grab the jersey, and bring him down.
Well, if you're familiar with our broadcast, you will know that we do like to go to break when one of these injuries happen, because every time we do, the injured person will hop right up and run off to the sidelines, leaving us in limbo. So we'll do that. Hopefully this young man will get up and run off. It is 21-21 here at Williams Stadium in Garland. 26 seconds left to go before halftime. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. I love that rule. Every time we go to break, they hop right up and run off. That was great because he did just then. So, 1st and 10 for Sachse with 26 seconds here in McKinney territory. Hunter wants to run, and he does around the left side, and he gets out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Henry Hunter from the quarterback position can run. He's 6'1", 190 pounds, and he is very fleet of foot.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like him getting out of bounds there, but if you're going to give up 5 yards and run off 4 seconds doing it, I'll take that trade-off.
22 seconds on the clock here before the American Bank of Texas halftime show, all tied up 21-21. Sachse and McKinney at Williams Stadium in Garland.
That said, I'd sure like to tackle him in bounds and have him make him take a timeout.
Look out for Christian Shepard here as Hunter drops back 3 steps, wants to throw over the left side. Wide open is Lowry, caught it at the 5, in for the touchdown. He was wide open. No one covered him. He was standing alone at the 8-yard line. Had to play center field, turned around and caught it. The ball was right above his knees. He caught the ball, turned around, and scored. The easiest touchdown the young man has ever scored in his life.
That was an absolute breakdown in the secondary. I don't know if it was Travis Tarver, if it was John Marabou at safety there, but they bid on the fake, and you're not going to see an easier, more wide-open receiver to throw to than Brandon Lowry was there. That's his 3rd touchdown.
Well, the kick is blocked, partially blocked, and it is no good. So that leaves us with a score of 27-21. And Sachse is in the lead. There's still 15 seconds left. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Mike's Economy Transmission Scoring Drive recap was 2 plays, 40 yards for Sachse. Took only 11 seconds off the clock, and they lead 27-21 after once again Brandon Lowry takes a reception from Henry Hunter. And here's a return by McKinney, and not going down. Dario Jackson finally does at the 31-yard line, only leaving 5 seconds on the clock here before half.
I was about to say that's a nifty little return, but when you take time off the clock that you don't really have a whole lot of, I don't necessarily know what their plans are. If they're just going to run it out, then that's not a big deal, but if they're going to hoist it, who knows?
Logan Epley on the stop for Sachse, as surely Zach Lee and Bobby Rays have something up their sleeve here with 5 seconds, or they may just come out and down it. Who knows what they'll do. Mark Gibson, the offensive coordinator, may try to trick something up here.
I'm surprised you don't see a lot more like Hail Marys in this situation, because the odds of an interception return for a touchdown are really, really low. Your odds of scoring a touchdown are a lot higher.
2 safeties are very deep for Sachse, and this is going to be a handoff to Brett Helt, left tackle, and he'll be taken down, and that will be the end of the second quarter. McKinney trailing Sachse 27-21. We're at half at Williams Stadium in Garland, and Sachse's got to be happy. They won last week, and they're leading tonight at half. They won 2 games last year, and if they hold on to this one, they'll win 2 games already this year. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
Welcome back to Garland. Williams Stadium is the site. Again, halftime at the American Bank of Texas halftime show as the Sachse Mustangs ahead 27-21 over the McKinney Lions. Now, if you're wondering, Sachse is a 5A squad. They play one of the toughest 5A districts. And if you just missed everything, I apologize about that. Halftime here, 27-21. But like I said, Sachse is a 5A squad, and they play in a pretty tough district that features the likes of Garland, Naaman Forest, Rowlett, South Garland, Garland Lakeview, and North Garland. So if you actually wonder and you look back and say, man, how do they have such a bad record in district? That's because they play some of the top teams in the area. Now, that's not to confuse that with what McKinney boys are going to be facing this year with the likes of Allen, Plano, Plano West, Plano East, along with Wiley and Jesuit. So we'll see how that one turns out for Boyd. But, again, this is a 4A versus a 5A school. And so in pure theory, the Sachse Mustangs have a wider array of talent to choose from. On the other end of the spectrum, McKinney Lions, I've seen another revamped district. They still play in 9-4A. But new to the district are Denison and Frisco, and Lake Dallas and Denison and Sherman. Well, how you can get those two mixed up. But and out is McKinney Boyd, also the Colony and Lake Dallas as well. And so the 9-4A rundown looks like this with these 8 teams: Denison, McKinney, Frisco, Sherman, Frisco, Wakeland, McKinney North, Frisco Centennial, and Frisco Liberty. A new school that has no history whatsoever. This is actually going to be their first year, so they're new to the district. So that's how it shakes down. And actually, McKinney is a coach's favorite in the district. They are picked second by the coaches. And the odd thing is, Frisco technically is tied for third in the poll. The way they do it, they give you points. So, for example, if you get a first-place vote, you get 8 points. A second-place vote is 7, so on and so forth. Frisco, which is tied for third, actually got the most first-place votes. They got 4. Sherman got 2. They're tied for third, but both Denison and McKinney only each got 1. Denison, by the coaches' poll, is the favorite to win the district. Now, not surprisingly, Frisco Liberty at the bottom in their first year, but no one really knows how that's going to turn out. So that's the district that we're looking at. And by the way, if you're a Boyd fan, they are picked last in their district by the coaches. And generally that's the case when you go from 4A to 5A. I'll take my chances with Darren Alves, though. I'll tell you that one. But here in this one, we're almost set to get back underway. The Lions are on their sidelines. Meanwhile, the Sachse return team's out on the field. And this is what I said at the end of the half. It kind of concerns me a little bit that the Mustangs were going to get possession coming out of the halftime because they just finished with possession in the first half. And, boy, I tell you, I'm getting really tired as a Mustang Lion fan of hearing the combination of Hunter to Lowry. Lowry, 5 catches for over 130 yards, and 3 of those 5 catches have been touchdowns. So you kind of wonder what exactly Bobby Ray has had up his sleeve, what he told his team at halftime. And right now, as we get back to this one, the McKinney Lions kickoff team's now on the field. So we're just moments away from starting this one. And I tell you, one thing that we've got to see is we've got to see a little bit more effort from that defensive line. The offense has looked fairly solid, and it's given you reason for optimism so far. Again, just the first game against a non-district team. They are playing their second game, so they've got a little bit more under their belt. Kickoff team lining up for this one. We're seconds from getting this underway. Back to kick is Brett Burdett, and he bounces that one out of bounds.
Well, hey, JBS Express happy again to kick off, as that one once again will go out of bounds.
Well, and they pulled C.J. Gonzalez the last time he kicked a pooch kick out of bounds in favor of Blake Burdett. But then they tried the pooch. Well, the pooch kick just hasn't worked today. And it's going to be interesting to see because we've got a potential late hit, too, to go with the illegal procedure kick out of bounds.
Obviously not wanting to kick it back to Chevy Bennett at all. And Tronkus Banks back there, the 2 men that are back deep, they're staying way away from those guys and trying to kick it to none other than LaChristian Shepherd. And you will have to wonder why him. Kick it away from him, too. He's the one that's beat you up all night on offense.
Then squib kick it. You got a lot of options open for you, but obviously if you keep kicking it out of bounds, something's not working.
Well, we'll try it again as C.J. Gonzalez will come back out. Maybe C.J. had something going on with his kicking shoe or something. We'll try to find out maybe from John Leidy what's going on down over there.
The umpire and the referee are having a long talk. And Kevin McPherson and Jared Foyt both said there's a late hit. I didn't see anything, but I was watching the football, and they may have been able to see something else.
Well, they are lining the ball back up at the 40-yard line, teeing it up. So that would be an offsetting penalty type of situation.
Yeah, I don't know, though, if that's a late hit. If that's a late hit, that's after the play is over. That's a dead ball personal foul. But that's if it at this point for me it's pure supposition because I didn't see it. But now Sachse's coach is getting in the mix. It's not the head coach. It's one of the assistants. Well, this is a fun way to start the second half, huh?
Yeah. Once again, JBS Express very happy as we we keep mentioning their name. I think we have something from John Leidy. John, go ahead. What do you got?
Guys, I kind of actually bring you a little unfortunate news. As Trevor Wadsworth was injured there in the first half, and he's going to miss the remaining of the game with just a leg injury. But he will be reevaluated after the game. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks, John. They will tee the ball up now at the 40-yard line, so really no information on what was going on there.
Yeah, so what was the long discussion? Yeah, that's one thing I like about what they've been able to do at Ron
here
Poe
they go.
Stadium.
Now they're going to move it back 5 yards.
It's one of the things I like about Ron Poe is they now have the ability to talk to us.
You're right.
Yeah, there is a personal foul. But the funny thing is that wasn't the referee who signaled. Of course, he's way back over there. So, yeah, now they're going to march it toward the 50. So they marched off the 5 for the illegal procedure, and then they marched off the 15 for legal hit. So at this point, Monty, you expect them to try to boom it out of the end zone. Keep it out of everybody's hands.
Was that the umpire,
Yeah.
Buddy Cornstubble, who made the call there? You know, I just like saying his name, Cornstubble. It's not a common name.
No, and I'm trying to be polite. It's one of those. It's a fun name.
Not Tommy Purple Toes Gilliam, who we had last year.
Yeah.
If you'll remember, his granddaughter painted his toenails purple. And now here's the kick. It's going to be in the end zone, and LaChristian Shepard takes it out of the end zone. He thought about it. Now he's off. Off to the races, 30, 35, 40, and tackled at the 42-yard line by the kicker, C.J. Gonzalez, who finally does make the stop, but a great return of 47 yards by LaChristian Shepard, who caught it, or didn't catch it in the end zone, but picked it up in the end zone and kind of took 2 steps walking away towards the middle of the field and then took off running.
And, boy, does that not take wind out of the sails. And you know what? That should incite somebody because that was showboating at his point. Oh, I'm going to say, oh, no, I'm not.
I don't know if it was showboating or just
he did that
indecision.
on purpose. That was intentionally done.
1st and 10 for Sachse, moving right to left here, just underway in the second half. Lowry in motion. He gets the carry, running all the way across the field, is stopped after a 2-yard gain by the defensive end, DeJuan Swinney. And it'll be 2nd down and 8. Again, 27-21, Sachse in the lead. Last year's score was 26-21. McKinney won that football game by scoring 26 unanswered points.
Kind of similar to what Sachse's done. They've scored 27 out of 7.
And Henry Hunter is going to draw Swinney off sides, I thought. He must have been able to get back on the line. And on 2nd down and 8, Hunter barking, handoff, left side. LaChristian Shepard carries a couple of McKinney Lions over the 50-yard line to the 49, one being Ryan Hughes, the leading tackler from last year with 90 tackles. Makes one right there and brings up a 3rd down and 4 situation for Sachse.
And you know, Monty, we saw DeJuan Swinney make a good play from his defensive end position. We need to see both defensive ends take control because that's what's hurting them. They're able to run outside, and that means your defensive ends aren't playing solid defense.
Hunter in the gun, throws a swing pass to Lowry. They've scored twice on this play. Lowry makes a move, has a 1st down, cuts it inside, and finally driven out by Jamario Mack after a 13-yard screen pass, catch, and run to the 32-yard line.
You know, it's easy to get frustrated at a play like that, but the reason it's successful, Lowry's a pretty speedy, athletic kid, so he has the ability to make that kind of play, and you saw him, he was able to stop and start, not Darren Alves-ish, but close, and was able to pick up some extra yards on that.
2 receivers to either side for Sachse. Hunter in the gun with Shepard in the backfield with him. Handoff Shepard up the middle. Now Scatter dances his way to the right side, and he'll go down to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd down and 10. 10 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter. 27-21 Sachse over McKinney at Garland-Williams Stadium.
Yeah, Monty, that was exactly what I said 2 plays earlier. The defensive end, this time on the right side, Jordan Kilwine, didn't allow the tackle to get a shoulder in on him, was able to turn that back inside to where he's got help, and there was a minimal gain.
2nd down and 10. Hunter fakes the hand this time, rolling right, looking to throw, throws it to the right side, undershoots his receiver, and incomplete. A flag on the near side. We'll have to check that.
It's an illegal block in the back. Boy, I'm surprised that flag took that long. You might as well put it in neon lights.
Well, it looked like the offensive lineman for Sachse, Kason Hostrup, was downfield quite a ways as well.
So now he's being
replaced. And it'll be Christian Mitchell coming into the game.
Yeah, it was an eligible receiver downfield. And Monty, I don't know how you missed that illegal block in the back. Whenever you've got a white jersey that's in front of a blue jersey and the white jersey falls down face first, that's usually an indication of block in the back. And I don't know how, like I said, that was neon lights. That was wide open for me.
McKinney elects to decline the penalty. It'll bring up 3rd and 10 for Sachse. Sachse's 5 out of 7 on 3rd down conversions, and Hunter is in the gun. He wants to throw, drops back, still throwing, setting up the screen, and that's Shepard who has it. A lot of room, a 1st down to the 20-yard line and more. Inside the 20 to the about the 17-yard line. And they are wearing out those linebackers by sending the backs underneath. Lowry and this time Shepard, they just basically send their slot backs and running backs underneath. Linebackers are supposed to pick those guys up. They are not. And on 3rd down, these slot backs are just wearing them out.
Yeah, I don't know what the secondary can do. They're just getting blocked.
Hunter fakes the hand. He wants to run. He's met right at the line of scrimmage. A great play by DeJuan Swinney again, who was Johnny on the spot to meet him right at the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up 2nd down and 10 with 9 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter. Sachse up 27-21 at Williams Stadium in Garland over McKinney.
Yeah, Monty, that name is one we're going to need to call often if the Mustang offense is going to slow down any. Him and Jordan Kilwine have got to play better on the defensive ends there. And so far this second half, Swinney sure has.
2 receivers either side. Hunter in the gun. Shepard stands to his left. Hunter, 3-step drop. Looks like he's going to throw right over the middle. Wide open again is Brandon Lowry in the end zone. Nobody anywhere around. And I said a moment ago that he had the easiest touchdown of his life. That one might have been easier. 17-yard touchdown from Henry Hunter to Lowry. And that is Lowry's 3rd touchdown of the night.
Monty, I don't know how you let that guy go. I mean, that's the equivalent of letting a Jerry Rice or Michael Irvin, you lose track of him. I mean, at this point, that's the 4th touchdown of 5 this team has scored.
The extra point is good, so Sachse now extends their lead 34-21 with 8:31 left to go in the 3rd. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Mike's Economy Transmission scoring drive recap. 8 plays for Sachse, 55 yards. Took 3 minutes and 29 seconds off the clock and gave Sachse the 34-21 lead after that 3rd touchdown pass to Brandon Lowry from Henry Hunter. And this is going to be McKinney on the return to the 30, 35, look out, 40, 45, up to the 50-yard line, crosses the 50, flag down at the 43-yard line, and that's where McKinney's return man, Josh Weathers, will go down as well.
Yeah, Monty, that's in the area of an offsides, depending on when the flag was thrown. I didn't actually see it, but it looks like it is going to be against Sachse, and it is. So that's a good start right now. I mean, it's easy for your wind to come out of your sails. I can't say that right now we're pumped up as we'd like to be, but that's a great way to get it back.
That kickoff was brought to you by JBS Express, and I think JBS Express is getting their money's worth tonight.
Boy, I'm telling you right now, if you wanted to be a sponsor of any of our segments, the kickoff's right up there.
Dario Jackson will come out, split out wide right. Zach Lee in the gun as always. Brett Helt standing a little bit to his right and behind him. And Helt's going to get the carry. Left tackle, big hole, 30, look out, 25, 20, 15, down at the 11-yard line. Brett Helt was shot out of a cannon for 27 yards.
Well, that's exactly what you want to see coming out of the first play, is a pretty big gain. And you know what? As good as the offensive line for Sachse has been, their defensive line has been fairly subpar. And that's allowed the McKinney Lions to do a lot of things on offense that, if all things go as you hope, they'll do it all year long.
Brett held over 100 yards now, at 108 to be exact. And he's going to get the carry again. Left tackle, another big hole to the 5. It is touchdown time in Texas. Brett Helt scores from 10 yards out. And McKinney chewing away at that lead. Back and forth we go.
Well, I tell you, Monty, counting the kickoff return, if you'd have asked, would you take them scoring in 3 plays after that touchdown, I'd have said you bet, and that's exactly what they did. 3 big plays, one on a kickoff, one by Brett Helt, and then the touchdown from 10 yards. Well, that's exactly what this team needed, and if that doesn't get you pumped up, I don't know what does.
C.J. Gonzalez on for the extra point. Hanson puts it down. The kick is up, and the kick is good. Remember, that extra point can come back to haunt him. 34-28 with 7:51 left to go in the third. Sachse in the lead at Williams Stadium in Garland. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Mike's Economy Transmission scoring drive recap. That one only 2 plays. 38 yards for McKinney. Took a $1:38 off the clock, and it was an 11-yard touchdown officially by Brett Helt. And that brings our score 34-28. Sachse still in the lead with 7:51 left to go in the third.
Yeah, Monty has been consistent with my blocking theme, and that was a nice job. Will Rogers from a receiver being able to spring Brett Helt.
Will Rogers related to Colin McKinney. If you don't know that name and you're from Collin County, you probably should. Here's Shepard, who has the return up to the 22-yard line before being brought down by Tommy Hess. Now, Colin McKinney, that's who McKinney is named after, and that's who Collin County is named after. And Will Rogers,
yeah,
he's probably named after somebody else, you would imagine, but he's also related to Colin McKinney.
Yeah, and to show you the importance of that guy is to that area, there's not many people in this country who have 2 parts of his name named after something. Usually it's your last name.
Flag down while we were talking about Colin McKinney. And we'll sort these out. It's going to be offsides, I believe.
Yeah, it's usually that's where that area is.
McKinney. So we're going to tee this JBS Express kickoff up once again. Colin, getting back to Colin McKinney, who thought his name would come up all night tonight? But Colin McKinney, you would think that guy would be buried in Collin County and probably in McKinney. No, he's buried in Van Alstyne. How does that happen?
Who knows? I'll tell you, with the way that rural Texas history shapes up, there's all sorts of love triangles and different tangents that you wonder how stuff happened. Going back to the game here, man, I'll tell you, Monty, if there's ever a time you expect a penalty, it seems to be on the kickoff. Yeah,
let's get back to football after that one. 34-28. Sachse in the lead here with 7:45. I'm going to distance from you a little bit, Brandon.
Well, you don't like penalty talk?
CJ Gonzalez is going to tee it up from the 35. Once again, we'll do a JBS Express kickoff.
Well, we've had almost no penalties outside special team, particularly outside the kickoffs.
I'm going to go to JBS Express and personally shake their hand.
Well, you think we're undercharging? As many times as we've done this one.
Here's Gonzalez, and he's going to kick off. Well, they try it again, right side, the pooch kick, and almost out of bounds, and this is going to be Chevy Bennett right up the left hash. Ball's on the turf. McKinney, I think, has the football. A scramble for it at the 30-yard line. This could be huge. Matt Hansen waving towards the south end zone saying McKinney has it. No indication yet. Still no indication.
The scramble in the pile when you see a referee using his momentum to try to pull somebody off.
We're waiting for corn stubble, and yes, it is McKinney ball.
Well, I can tell you right now, Monty, if the way things were shaping up, it was going to be a 1-for-1, and that right now doesn't look like something McKinney was able to handle, and they really needed a turnover. Boy, this is coming at an opportune time. Boy, thank you, JB Express.
Corey Motherwell came up with the football for McKinney.
JBS
actually stripped it. And Lee is going to hand off. Brett Helt spinning out of the tackle, can't do it. He's met at the line of scrimmage. He tried to spin out, but Derek Douglas was right there and brought him down. Actually, it'll be a loss of 1.5 yards, bring up second down and long.
Yeah, Monty, as good as JBS Express has been for us today, it's pretty fitting that we end up getting one of the biggest plays here in the second half coming on that. I tell you, like I say, the turnover, man, you hear it all of a sudden, the crowd seems a little bit more hype. That's one of the biggest changes in momentum you'll see in the game of football.
That was a big change here. Lee in the gun, deep in Sachse territory, handoff Brett Helt, and he was trying to find that left side, and he's going to lose yardage again. He once was over 100 yards. He's getting close to being back under 100 yards. Everett Daniels makes the stop. The linebacker on the blitz comes up and pulls him down. And now it's 3rd and 15.
Yeah, technically still at 103, but let's hope we don't attempt that anymore. I'd like to see, let Zach Lee use his arm right now. I mean, that's what he's good at. He's one of the best passers in the district, if not the area itself.
Will Rogers split out wide left. Dario Jackson right. And Lee wants to throw, drops back, straight back, firing across the middle, looking for Jared Farley, and it's incomplete. Dario Jackson also in the area, but Chevy Bennett was also there, the man who picked it off earlier in the game, and he broke that one up. And that'll fall incomplete. Be 4th down and 15. Punt time for McKinney, you would think, but Zach Lee's still in the game.
Well, I mean, this is inside the 40, right at the 35. And you're not necessarily liking the 4th and 15.
I saw the line judge signaling false start on that.
I think he was saying the play clock's still moving.
Okay, 4th down and 15. And McKinney's going to go for it. Lee in the gun. Will stand at the 40, line of scrimmage 35. Drops back 2 steps. Looking across the middle. Firing it way down the field. Dario Jackson was there, but it's incomplete. Almost intercepted. And that is Tadero Sims, who almost came up with the pick. Might well have had the pick, but just intentionally dropped it to have better field position.
Yeah, that was 2 plays solid in a row by that junior in the secondary, and he's technically not even a starter. But I tell you, man, that's a blown opportunity for McKinney, and it's not a good. It's just a situation he was dealt. He didn't have a whole lot of receivers, but it's unfortunate that Lee's worst pass of the game happens to come on a 4th and 15.
Boy, you got to take advantages of that. When you get the ball deep in Sachse territory, you'd like to make at least 3 points out of it.
Bare minimum field goal would have been.
1st and 10 for Sachse at their own 35. And Hunter wants to keep it around the right side. Now up the middle. Now bumps it up right side. And after about a 3-yard gain, Ryan Hughes, the middle linebacker, brings him down with 6:04 left to go in the 3rd. Sachse up 34-28 over McKinney.
Boy, is it too much to hope for another turnover? I mean, I don't want to sound defeated here with 6 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter, but boy, it just seems like a blown opportunity.
Good news for McKinney North fans. They lead 13-6 in the 3rd quarter at Ron Poe Stadium. 5:42 and rolling here. McKinney trailing Sachse. Hunter in the gun, throws it. Lowry makes the catch at the 40, up to the 45 and out of bounds. And another 1st down for Sachse as Dominic Gardner will push him out.
Well, you wonder if Henry Hunter has another receiver he can throw to. And the reason I say that is out here on the near side, Jamel, is that P or Fee?
Fee,
it's what I thought. Jamel Fee basically let Justin Sheard go by him because Brandon Lowry was in his vicinity. And that might be bad if he can get it to Sheard because no one's in front of him.
Well, there's going to be a false start against Sachse. You can hear the whistles.
You know there's going to be a false start when the center still has the ball and 2 or 3 offensive linemen are already blocking.
Let's check down with John Leidy, who's on the sidelines, and see what he's got going down there. John, go ahead.
Guys, the momentum was actually swinging back to McKinney Lions' way, and you had that fumble recovery there on the kickoff, and let's see if the defense can step up here and stop the Sachse Mustangs. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks a lot, John. 1st and 15 for Sachse, moving right to left from their own 41-yard line. 5:33 left to go in the 3rd. Sachse leading 34-28 at Williams Stadium in Garland. Henry Hunter, the quarterback, shotgun, drops back 3 steps, setting up the shovel pass, and he does to LaChristian Shepard, who's met at the line of scrimmage and might have even lost a yard. Great play by Ryan Hughes, the linebacker, and Jordan Kilwine, the defensive end, to make the stop.
Yeah, much better play there by the defense. I commented earlier when they ran a similar play in the 1st half. You almost cringe when you see 3 white shirts go through unblocked because you know there's a big play about to happen. This time you only saw 1. Everybody else stayed at the line and kept their composure.
McKinney out of sorts a little bit on defense, hustling up to the line. Henry Hunter wants to throw it deep. Now he scrambles out to the left, being chased. And he's met and finally runs out of bounds and still shy, well shy of any 1st down. Ryan Hunter pushes him out of bounds after a 4-yard gain. Tommy Hess also there on the stop. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 12 for Sachse, moving right to left from their own 44-yard line.
Yeah, unfortunately, Monty, they're looking at a 3rd and 12 right now, but distance hasn't mattered to this team. They've been able to get these chunks, whether it's 1st and 10, 2nd and 20. In this case, 3rd and 12, they've been able to get the 1st down. So you just need one solid play here.
Well, if I were McKinney, I'd be looking for Brandon Lowry on the screen somehow. And Henry Hunter sets up the screen. And a great defensive play by Prescott Mack to break everything up. The cornerback got in the way of everybody. The receiver over there, Banks, was trying to run the in route, come inside on a pick, and Prescott Mack just broke everything up. Great play.
Yeah, he read that one well. The back was coming out to block Mack, while, like you say, the receiver was coming out to catch that one. Mack didn't let it happen. He read that perfectly, and that's exactly what we need, is the defense to start reading what the offense is coming at them and then reacting to that.
Kyle Phillips, low snap, digs it out. It's a low end-over-end punt. It's going to be taken by Darian Jackson, who lets it roll. Only 2.47 on the hang time on that low line drive punt.
And they still almost were able to make something out of that one. That was too close for my comfort. The returner needed to have gotten out of the way just a bit more for me to feel comfortable.
So McKinney will take over at their own 18-yard line. Left to right here at Williams Stadium, trailing 34-28. Now, Sachse missed an extra point earlier, which could come into play here.
Yeah, you bet. And nice thing about what we just saw with the defense, Monty, that's their first stop since the first half of the first quarter. So hopefully they're starting to right that ship.
Zach Lee in the gun. Will Rogers split out wide left. Dario Jackson right. Handoff to a new running back up the middle, and he has a couple yards to the 20-yard line. We'll check and see who that is.
Robinson?
And it may be Reggie Robinson.
No,
it's not Reggie Robinson. It is Damian Willis on the carry. And Willis, his first varsity carry, will garner 3 yards.
Yeah, he's just a sophomore, so, you don't make varsity as a sophomore if you don't have skill. So it'd be interesting to see, what exactly he brings to the table here in place of Brett.
Shotgun, 2 receivers either side. Zach Lee, he wants to throw, looks left, throws left, and it's caught by Will Rogers. Just a quick out, not much doing there. And maybe about 3 yards on the play, maybe 4 out to the 25-yard line.
Yeah, they dodged a bullet. The ball came out, but he was considered down. Forward progress was stopped, so the whistles blew, and that's when the ball came out. And that could have been huge because he did recover it, but he recovered it behind the line of scrimmage. So a fortunate break for the Lions.
3rd down and 2 for McKinney, who's 3 out of 6 on 3rd down so far this evening and on the year, seeing as how this is the first game. 34-28, Sachse in the lead. Lee in the gun. Handoff. No, he keeps it around the left side. It's the bootleg, and he's up to the 45, actually to the 40. He'll have the first down after a 15-yard scramble around the left side. He faked the hand to Damian Willis and just simply kept the ball running around left side.
Yeah, that's the first time that he's kept the ball for himself, minus the option, which I don't know that really counts. And the reason that was big is because half of the defense didn't think he'd keep the ball, and so they went the other way, and that allowed Lee to utilize his blockers to spring around the left side for the first down and more.
Quinn Benson in the slot. Dario Jackson split out wide right. Willis, still the tailback, in for Brett Helt. And they fake the hand to him. Lee throws, and it's caught by Damian Jackson. If this was the NFL, he might be scoring right now, but he caught it laying on the ground at the 50-yard line.
That might be a little generous about the scoring, but he definitely would have had the first down. Good coverage right in front of him. But tell you, Monty, if that again, it's a tough one because that ball's in the air before the break is made, but if that ball's right where he needs to be, that's where you could think about if he makes a move scoring.
2nd down and 1. Do you chunk the ball down the field here?
Why not?
2:28 on the clock in the 3rd quarter. McKinney trailing. Handoff. Willis, right side, bumps it out to the right side, gets a block, and drug down another gold helmet on the turf.
That's Willis's.
And Willis will have the first down to the 43-yard line. Quentin Evans makes a stop for Sachse.
Welcome to varsity.
And that's 3 times we've seen those gold helmets laying on the carpet.
Yeah, and I tell you, that's 3 times too many. Yeah, buckle those chin straps a bit tighter.
Jackson and Benton near side. Moving left to right is McKinney. On the good side of the 50-yard line. Lee wants to throw left side, throwing it. Farley brings it down at the 35, trying to make a guy miss. Does. Down at the 30. No, he actually goes inside the 25 to the 23-yard line, a 20-yard reception for Jared Farley.
Well, you kind of like the move there to one degree. It allowed him to get past the defender. And by the way, not the most graceful of jukes that I've seen. But that did allow pursuit from the backside for the Mustang defense to catch him eventually. And that's where you got to be careful of the possible fumble by knocking it out.
It was almost a deer in the headlights kind of juke. This is a handoff. Brett Helt back in the game, bumping it out right side. He's got the 15 and is pushed down at the 14-yard line, close to another first down, and another gold helmet on the ground on the far side. Everett Daniels makes the stop, but that's Jared Farley, whose hat fell off. And now an injured Sachse player is bent over at about the 12-yard line. He'll come out. New player comes in. That is Chevy Bennett. New player comes in that will replace him will be Will Plenarski, who does normally start.
Yeah, he's on defense. He's the free safety starter. So
McKinney has 298 yards of total offense, and Sachse has 308.
Pretty even. But I tell you right now, the big difference has been the latest, the punt. But, man, that turnover sure helped skew things for McKinney a little bit.
A touchdown here would put him dead even as Helt gets the carry right over the center down to the 6-yard line. Another first down for McKinney as they're moving the ball here. Will Plenarski makes the stop.
You know, I think Brett heard us say that he's a fullback. He's not your stereotypical running back. He's a bruiser, because we've seen some nice moves out of him today that, while not a Darren Alves type, still pretty good running back moves.
He reminds me of a kid who McKinney had several years ago named Brett Anderson a little bit.
Yeah, and he was one of my favorite players.
Handoff. Now Lee wants to keep it rolling around left side. Pressure, throws it in the end zone. It's tipped and intercepted. It was tipped by a McKinney receiver, and it was tipped up instead of down, and it was picked off 5 yards deep in the end zone.
Well, I wish we had replay, because I wouldn't bet my life savings on it, but I sure would have thought that I saw some pass interference.
Marcus Stallworth is the man responsible for hauling it in 5 yards deep in the end zone for Sachse.
Yeah, that pass was intended for Jared Farley, but, you know, I thought he was pushing the back, Monty. I mean, I don't want to harp on it too much, but, well, if it's not the case, it's a blown opportunity, and if it is the case, it's a blown opportunity of another kind.
75 yards on 9 plays for McKinney and ended in nothing. Can't have those kind of nights, and of course it is week 1 for McKinney.
That's 2 blown opportunities.
Right to left goes Sachse from their own 20-yard line, end around reverse, and here comes Banks to the near side. 25, 30, 35, 40, look out, looking for a block, 50, 40, trying to keep his feet and stay in bounds, 30, 25, 20, cuts it back inside and falls down at the 15-yard line. 65 yards on the pass or the end around reverse, but I'm not so sure he didn't step out about the 40-yard line. Ryan Levens finally brings him down. The senior runs him down, but what a great run, an athletic move by Banks, but I still say he stepped out somewhere along the 40 or 35-yard line.
An end around reverse in the second game? Well, you never see that. That's something you say for district. I mean, you showed your hand.
34-28 into the third quarter. Sachse in the lead at Williams Stadium in Garland over McKinney. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. It's fourth quarter time in Garland, Texas, where Sachse leads at Williams Stadium 34-28 over McKinney. And looking for more, Henry Hunter hands off to Shepard running left guard. And he's near a first down marker again at the 8-yard line. Ryan Hughes makes a stop for McKinney, but it'll be second and short, 2nd and 3 from the McKinney 8-yard line.
Boy, Monty, I don't know how many breaks you need to try to get your team, but the defense got you one, the special teams got you one. You ended up, bare minimum, if you come away with that with 10 points, you're in pretty good situation. But now you're asking your defense to do it again.
Banks split out wide right, and Hunter gives the hand again to Shepard and being brought down. A nice play up front for McKinney.
Yeah, Jordan Kilwine not in on the tackle there, but he sure made that play by keeping his position and not letting anybody push him inside.
Eric Husner also made a great stop for McKinney.
Yeah, he's the one who got the tackle, and that's
Tommy Hess as well.
That's exactly what you want your defensive end to do, is not let anything go outside. So good job. A much better play here in the second half by the 2 defensive ends.
3rd down and 3. Huge play right here. Henry Hunter, he's going to drop back 2 steps, flushed out left, now rolling. Now throws on the run, and it's a touchdown for Lowry But is there a flag? Was he across the line of scrimmage when he threw it?
No, unfortunately.
Apparently not. They'll give him the touchdown as Lowry caught it 8 yards deep in the end zone, standing all by himself. And it's now 40-28.
I think they're going for 2. No, maybe not. Kicker might be in. Although, I don't know. It looks like, I think the offense is still out there. They're going for 2, Mike.
Nine-yard touchdown from Hunter to Lowry. It's his 4th connection tonight. 5th connection tonight for a touchdown. Wow.
They only scored 6 times.
Going for 2 here. Hunter looking left, throwing over the middle, and it's incomplete. So 40-28 is our score. Is there a flag?
No, they blew that one out in the wide. There was nobody around. If Hunter looks to his left.
10:42 left to go in the football game. McKinney trailing Sachse 40-28. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
There are a lot of banks here in Texas, but there's only one bank that's...
Mike's Economy Transmission scoring drive recap. 4 plays, 80 yards for Sachse, 1:41 off the clock. And it was another Hunter to Lowry touchdown connection, the 5th of the night. Dario Jackson picks up the return, and he makes his way across the 20 to the 21-yard line on the JBS Express kickoff. And it's Travis Burgeon on the stop for Sachse. Dario Jackson on the turf hasn't made his way up yet. He's at the 22-yard line. Again, it's very warm, and this could be cramps. We have no idea as the trainers will come back out on the field. The trainers, once again this year, for McKinney are Billy Skidmore and Jamie Reitman. And now Dario Jackson, it looks exactly like a cramp.
Yeah, he got hit at an awkward angle.
The cramps coming through.
What?
Okay. He just got hit at an awkward angle. And, sometimes when that happens, you can cramp up real quick.
Zach Lee brings his troops back out on 1st and 10, moving right to left in the 4th quarter, trailing here. Handoff up the middle. And is that Willis again? Another big hole. Not much. Well, I shouldn't say that. It wasn't a giant hole as much as it was him keeping his head down and his legs moving. As on the stop once again for Sachse is Will Pisnarski. And a first down for McKinney on Willis's run.
Yeah, and there's plenty of time left, Monty. Right now you just need to stick to what's going to get you yards. You don't need to worry about the time too much yet. Just make sure you get something productive out of this drive.
McKinney down by 12, 40-28 here in the 4th quarter. Handoff, Willis up again, makes his way to the 40, a 5-yard gain for Damian Willis on first down. Willis starting to pick up his numbers a little bit as on the tackle is Marcus Stallworth and Tadero Sims.
And Monty, the first time this broadcast, second game, you know my opinion on the 2-point conversions. You don't do it till you need it. So you kind of wonder, you talk about missing the extra point could come back and haunt you. That's another technically missed extra point.
Willis on second down will get the carry again. No, Lee keeps it around the left side. 40, trying to cut it up. 45 looking for the sideline and out of bounds right at the midfield stripe. Or maybe about a foot shy of midfield. But it will be enough for a first down as McKinney's still moving here on the run with 9:34 left to go in the 4th, down by 12, 40-28 here at Williams Field in Garland.
And Monty, you said the key that the Lions need to do. They keep moving it. And if they can do that on this drive, like I say, you need to get some points. Still plenty of time left.
2 receivers at either side. Jared Farley in the slot. Brandon White in at the left receiver spot. And Lee's going to hand it off. No, he kept it, and he should have handed it off because right there in the face of Zach Lee was Derek Douglas. And Douglas has had a whale of a game tonight from his defensive end position.
Yeah, and that's a misread by Lee, plain and simple. What he has to do is see where the defensive end commits. If he goes down the line, he keeps it. If he comes to him, he gives it up. And in that case, he misread it.
Loss of 5 yards on first down brings up 2nd and 15 as we near the 9-minute mark in the 4th quarter. McKinney down by 12 to Sachse. 40-28, Lee in the gun, gets it, handoff. That's Willis. He's met at the line of scrimmage. Another great play up front. This time it was a blitzing linebacker, Everett Daniels, who gets up and shows his muscles to the home crowd.
Yeah, good job.
So it'll be 3rd and 15. No gain there.
Just not a big fan of showboating.
Brandon White and Jared Farley stand near each other. And in the slot now for McKinney is Josh Weathers, who does a lot of returning on kickoffs, is in the slot in place of Benton. And Lee wants to throw. Throwing it down the right side, looking for Jackson, and he overshot him by about 5 yards. Great coverage out there by the cornerback, Chance Sheffield, who was in stride with Dario Jackson, but the ball was simply way overthrown. It'll be 4th down and 15 for McKinney with 8:09 left to go in the game.
Well, it was overthrown in part because of Chance Sheffield. When you play solid cover, you want to slow them down. You want to slow the receiver down, and that's exactly what happened, and made it look like Lee, who probably overthrew him by a hair, made it look like he overthrew him by quite a bit.
Jared Farley back to punt on 4th and 15. Will stand at his own 31-yard line. The line of scrimmage is the 45. And the snap is good, and Farley's kick is a spiraling low kick. It's going to be taken by Banks at the 16-yard line, making a man miss at the 20, and falls down at the 23-yard line. A little bit better hang time on that kick, 3.19. It was in the air for a little over 3 seconds. We have 7 minutes and 58 seconds left to go in this football game. Sachse up 40-28 at Williams Stadium in Garland over McKinney. And with the ball.
And that, unfortunately, is the reality of the situation. And with the ball. You look back, they had a 4th down at the 35 when they were in 4th and long, and then they had that one tipped in the end zone. That's
is there any doubt that when Henry Hunter came in at quarterback, it changed this football game? Here's a handoff, and that's Shepard making a man miss. Now it's Lowry pushing a man down. And he makes his way near another 1st down, shy of the 40-yard line at the 39. And it's Chris Alfopka who makes the tackle.
Yeah.
Afiopka, I should say. Sorry.
I think I know why we've had not so many penalties in this game. It's because there was an obvious one. I mean, McKinney line player was on the ground face first, and a Sachse Mustang was right on top of him.
Hey, I'm telling you, Cornstubble doesn't like to call penalties.
That's not – if he's consistent, I don't mind.
Shotgun, Henry Hunter fakes the hand run. Oh, a big stop in the backfield for McKinney's Chris. Here we go again. Afiopka, a great play and a loss for Sachse. It'll be 3rd down and long now. Well, not long, maybe 4.5, 5 yards.
But again – goes back to defensive end play, and it's been much improved. And when you consider, they've only scored 13 points this half versus 27 in the first half, obviously there's been some improvement, and I think the majority of it's come from those defensive ends.
Scoreboard's going to show 3rd and 3. McKinney needs to stop here, obviously. Down by 12 with 6.5 minutes left. Man in motion is Lowry. He gets the hand coming all the way from left to right, and he's all alone. Look out, 45-40. And he falls down. He was going to try to cut it back inside. Had lots of room to run, but he got his feet tripped up, and he went down after a 30-yard run to the 34-yard line in McKinney territory, and another 1st down for Sachse.
It's almost like the Lions, instead of getting their cleats from, Reebok or Nike, got it from concrete. Because they were just stuck out there. I mean, you pretty much thought Farley was going to be taken down in the open field. He makes a move, and McKinney, the Lions are just stuck there. They're not moving.
What does the concrete swoosh look like?
I don't know, but it's not mobile, I'll tell you that.
1st and 10 for Sachse, left to right from the McKinney 34-yard line, and Shepard gets the carry around the left side, and he gains a couple. Josh Jackson makes the stop for McKinney. Again, 2nd down and long, and Sachse just trying to milk this clock now, up by 12, 40-28 over McKinney.
I don't want to take anything away from this Lowry there, but man, I'm telling you, it's like they're stuck in mud.
Last year, Sachse's highest scoring output was 28 points. They've already got 40. And there's movement on the line, and that's Banks, the wide receiver on the right side. He was stumbling and kind of trying to balance on one foot, and he fell down, and they called offsides on him. Or movement on the line, and that was him. 5:20 left to go in the fourth quarter, 40-28. Sachse leading McKinney. And it was a great first quarter by McKinney. It really was. They came out storming out of the gates, but ever since Henry Hunter has been in at quarterback, it's pretty much been all Sachse.
It's been almost the opposite of last year's.
And since they started to try to hand off to LaChristian Shepard
and pass to Lowry
and throwing the swing pass out to Lowry, they figured out what works. And they're going to throw the swing pass out to Lowry again. 30, 25, down at the 22-yard line. A tripped-up tackle finally by the safety, John Marabot, stops Lowry, or he'd have scored again for the 6th time on a swing pass. 17-yard pass and catch. And Lowry's got to have some incredible receiving numbers tonight.
Well, I don't know.
Coming in last week, they played a game last week against Richardson Pierce. He had 1 catch for 26 yards last week. How? This week he has 10 for 200. 5 touchdowns. Here's Hunter up the middle, and he's going to have close to a 9-yard gain on first down. Mario Mack will make the stop. Now, we will say this. Sachse is a 5A team. They have lots more students to pull from, and they're all back from last year for the most part.
And you can look on the field and see how much bigger they are. And that's one of the byproducts of 5A.
This is a very experienced Sachse football team, much better than their 2-8 record from last year indicates. They're 2-0 now. They're 3 minutes and 58 seconds away from being 2-0. Henry Hunter in the gun. 2 receivers either side. Hunter's going to run right over left tackle and has another first down. It's brought down by a defensive lineman, which is Eric Husner. But not before Hunter grabbed the first down. So now inside the 10-yard line, it'll be 1st and goal from the 9.
Well, it's like you try to pull something positive. That's a good job by Husner coming through the line, getting Hunter before he gets very much, but it's a first down.
Red Barons and company is going to try to take a lot of time off the play clock here as it rolls down inside 10 now. Eighth play of the drive for Sachse, and they're going to wait and let this get inside 3 seconds on the play clock and hand it off up the middle to Christian Shepard, and a 9-yard touchdown run by Shepard. And that pretty much puts the icing on the cake for Sachse.
Stranger things have happened, but I tell you, it's just kind of demoralizing when you think what could have been. You know, with that turnover on the kickoff return, and then the eventual interception in the end zone on what was a nice 75-yard drive. It's just kind of leaves a sour taste.
Reyna on the extra point, and this one will limp through. 46-28. Sachse over McKinney. 3:17 left. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Well, the scoring drive by Mike's Economy Transmission is 8 plays, 71 yards, 4 minutes and 41 seconds off the clock. And it's now 47-28. Sachse in the lead over McKinney, and we're starting to approach some numbers we hadn't seen in a while, and that's points given up by McKinney. And this is going to be Willis on the return to the 20, 25, and down after a pretty nice return to the 33-yard line by McKinney. So McKinney will take over with 3:10 left to go in this football game. Now, McKinney hasn't given up this many points in quite some time. Matter of fact, you have to go back. To November the 7th, 2003, when Plano East scored 50 on McKinney. And that was at what was then McKinney ISD Stadium, now Ron Poe Stadium.
New quarterback in the game.
And Ronald Rockamore will be in the football game now. And he'll hand off to Willis coming near side, 35, cuts it up 40, and out of bounds at the 44-yard line, enough for a first down. Willis putting up some pretty good numbers here in the second half rushing. 3:02 on the clock as he steps out of bounds.
Yeah, and you like the rushing game that you've seen. You like the passing game. Both of those have eclipsed last year's average. Rushing in particular, well over 200 yards today. And then passing, they're over 200 yards again. Last year's average is 106 rushing. and 196 passing. So good job by the offense, but you just can't give up 47 points.
Well, good news if you're it's not all bad news if you're a McKinney resident. Your North Bulldogs are winning tonight 20-13. And Rockamore wants to throw, drops back 2 steps, and throws over, and it's caught at the 45, and a new receiver there. Or is that Benson? I got to check. I think it is Quentin Benson over there who makes a catch, and that's enough for a first down to move the sticks. Yeah, it's been a while since the McKinney Lions have given up this amount of points. Like I said, 50 to Plano East back in 2003. That's, of course, when McKinney was 5A. Right now, they've given up 47 to Sachse. 47-28, Sachse in the lead over McKinney. 2:34 left to go in the football game. McKinney with the ball, moving right to left. Ronald Rockamore into the game at quarterback. 2-step drop, throws across the middle. Now it's a fade route down the right side, and it's caught inside the 8-yard line and down at about the 2. 41 yards, and it's hauled in by Will Rogers.
Well, you almost think 6 minutes too late. Now, if they could have done this now, it ain't a done deal yet, neither the scoreboard nor the drive.
Will Rogers is an intimidating wide receiver, standing at 6'4", 200 pounds. A huge wide receiver. Just think about the talent on this football team when Lipka gets back.
No kidding.
Rockamore, hands off up the middle. Is that Willis? And he's in for the touchdown. No, fumble.
What? Oh, good, they retained possession.
And they did retain possession.
I thought he was him.
I did too.
Of course, you got to understand, from the press box vantage point, we've arguably got one of the worst seats in the house because we're so far up. And in this case, we're at the 40-yard line on the other side of the field. So it's tough when they get a big pile to see exactly where everybody is.
Clock still moving, 1:53 and rolling here. Second down and goal from the 2. Rockamore in the gun. Gets it, handoff. And met in the backfield is Reggie Robinson, or is that Willis? Robinson wears 5, Willis wears 6, and I think it was Willis. Everett Daniels makes this great play in the backfield. And it'll be 3rd and goal from the 4 on a 2-yard loss there.
Yeah, that's a dangerous play because the Mustang defense was in the backfield right as the exchange was taking place, and that's an area where you're looking at a potential turnover.
Will Rogers split out wide right. Brandon White left. Farley and Benson in the slot. Rockamore in the gun. And it's Willis in the backfield. Willis moved a little early, but no indication of a flag. And the ball is thrown in the end zone, and it is a touchdown. Will Rogers. Rockamore to Will Rogers. So that'll make the pain a little less. As you score there with a $1:04 left to go. 47-34. Sachse in the lead. And C.J. Gonzalez will come on for the extra point.
And this is a good learning experience both for Rockamore and obviously the big plays provided there by Will Rogers. So, I mean, they're definitely a positive to take out of the end here.
And Gonzalez's kick is good. 47-35, again down by 12. Only 1:04 left to go, though. Sachse over McKinney here at Williams Stadium in Garland. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
LAK.
Welcome back to Williams Stadium in Garland. Monty Walker along with the rest of the gang here.
Well, now we get the crowd going. Most excited either side's been.
47-35, Sachse in the lead over McKinney. A $1:04 left to go in this football game. Do we dare see an onside kick for the JBS Express kickoff?
Why not? We've seen it all for them so far.
Why don't we do Mike's
comes.
Economy? Well, we'll do that in a moment. Here's the onside kick. Oh, a great kick. Very high, bouncing, and it goes out of bounds. Saxon's the last person to touch it.
Doesn't matter on the outsides, though.
So it will not go over to McKinney. Let's do the Mike's Economy transmission scoring drive recap. 6 plays, 67 yards, took 2 minutes and 43 seconds off the clock. And it was a Ronald Rockamore to Will Rogers 4-yard touchdown pass.
And boy, Monty, you were right. That was one excellent bounce coming off the onsides there. And, you know, that's maybe an inch to half a foot away from being Lions ball with a minute left. And, you know, I still go back to, you know, the missed opportunities, you know, that had a potential for a field goal, but they were just a bit out of range on a 4th down attempt. And then, you know, the interception in the end zone. If you can capitalize there, you're looking at 10 points. It's only a 2-point game, and so who knows what decisions are different after that. But, you gotta admire the fact they're not quitting. They're going for the onside. They just scored, and you say what you will, but even in losses, winners don't quit. And so the fact that they're still out there fighting gives me reason for optimism.
Well, Sachse not quitting either. Look out there with a minute 2 left. They still have LaChristian Shepard and Brandon Lowry and Henry Hunter still in the football game.
Well, it's
only a 12-point game. But Hunter is going to run to the right side. Look out. 45, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 25. Cuts it inside 20, 15. Makes a man miss. Down 10 to the 5-yard line. Henry Hunter on a spectacular run. He gets up and shakes his hips a little bit. 54 yards on the run for Henry Hunter. And there's 48 seconds left on the clock.
Well, and doing a little taunting after that one. He stuck out the football and pointed at one of the Lions, and well, you better rein that in. You do that during district play, and it's a whole different ball game.
Well, clock's still rolling now after that long 54-yard run. It's 32 seconds and rolling. 47-35. Sachse going to win tonight over McKinney. Although we may have another score. No, we're not. Henry Hunter's going to down the ball at the 12-yard line. There's 20 seconds, 19. That's it.
Yeah, I think the main thing that Sachse was doing there was just looking for a first down because, conceivably McKinney had enough timeouts, and I'm glad to see that they took the classy route and took a knee at the end.
A nice little scene down here is Tronkus Banks and Prescott Mack, wide receiver cornerback, been working on each other all night. As soon as the game was over, they just gave each other a little hug and said, friendly, that's a nice sportsmanship moment right there. You don't see that a whole lot and these days.
Yeah, I was about to say, Monty, sad as that is, that's really what sportsmanship's supposed to be about. And I'm glad to see that one of the Lions has the class to do that.
Well, they are shaking hands across the field now. We'll come back in a moment and maybe have an interview with head coach Bobby Rays and probably try to talk to Brett Helt, the star of the night's game, the McKinney Gym Equipment star of the game. 47-35, Sachse beats McKinney tonight. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.